Sir, you are a fugitive from justice. Surrender you and your deviant ape army, or we will shoot.
Hello and welcome to the Kongversation. I'm Hyle Russell.
I'm Chad McCanna.
And we are joined this week by our good friend and the voice of Autumn 2014.
Hello, I'm Joe Mudd.
Wow, that's not a very sought-after calendar. The voice of Autumn 2014.
The voice of autumn. No. Usually you'll find me on the skimpy underwear calendar. You know.
Oh,
Mr. September.
Nice. Mr. Voice of September.
Mr. Voice of September. Yeah.
It's just your sexy waveforms we're after, Joe.
So, Joe, what YouTube comments do we have today? Because that's the only reason we brought you on.
I'm not going to read them anymore.
Yeah, no more YouTube comments ever again.
I'll explain to our dear listeners who are probably a bit miffed and are probably crying right now and, bashing the computer with their fists or head.
Chad is a tyrant. The end.
That's right.
No. Basically, I just started the feature because I noticed comments were pointing out things like interesting information or oversights that we'd overlooked and think useful things that we could talk about on the show. And so, but as soon as I said, okay, post a comment on YouTube, we'll read them out, it's kind of turned into a Facebook feed with people going, oh, my dog ate some food today and then it puked him up. So what we're saying, listeners, is we will read all of the comments, we promise, and we'll respond to them. And if it's really good, we'll acknowledge them on the show, but we're not going to read every single comment on the show because it was just turning into people nattering on about their day-to-day lives.
So it basically was turning into every other corner of the internet.
Yeah. And believe me, there is no place for irrelevant discussion on the Kongversation.
No, we save that for the forum. No, actually, no, we call it completely relevant now, don't we?
I don't know. Chad, I was joking about the fact that we always go off on long tangents that have nothing to do with Donkey Kong Country.
Oh, I didn't pick up on... See, you were trying to utilize humor on this show, and I take it very seriously, Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is serious. This is the Boyhood or the Selma of podcasts.
The Boyhood or Selma. So it's either an overly dramatic biopic of a guy who cheated on every woman he encountered, or it's Selma.
It's Marge Simpson's chain-smoking sister who isn't a lesbian.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Much like Boyhood, this episode, it feels like it's been 12 years in the making. Anyway, so if you want to still get your voice heard on the show, you could always call the DK Vine hotline. Mm-hmm. That's at 1-281-410-KONG. Or a word, or 5664.
Yes.
One of those will work.
Joe, would you be able to regale us with a presentation of the Kongversation hotline theme?
If you want to call the Kongversation, it's 1-281-410 and a word.
Ooh, that was like a Shatner rendition.
Yeah. I was thinking that. I don't know. I just yelled whatever my brain farted at me in the heat of the moment because I didn't have anything prepared.
Now do it as Chris Pine as Shatner.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know who that is.
I think you're all the better for that.
He's the new Star Trek bloke, isn't he? From the
he's Abrams Kirk.
Oh, come on, Chet. Look, I know you have problems with Into Darkness, and so do I. But don't knock the cast. The cast is excellent.
Yes. Okay. You're right. The cast is excellent. The problem is the writing.
It's not even Abrams' fault. The problem is the script. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you're right. It really is the script. Because Abrams,
they're well-constructed movies. They're very well-constructed.
They're well-directed. Special effects heavy stuff is always difficult to direct. They're well-made, albeit a little heavy on the lens flares, but that's the joke. Ha ha ha. But J.J. Abrams has earned the fucking joke. But yeah, they were just horrendously written.
Yeah, the first one was okay. The second one
was okay. Yeah,
the second one was just the Star Trek's greatest hits, and it was just like, what the fuck? Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. When they're not invalidating the whole concept of warp, they are for convenience in the story. They're basically aping the greatest hits, as you put it, of the original Star Trek films.
Yeah,
so
it's
the back third of the movie is a role reversal Wrath of Khan. It was fucking absurd.
Yeah, and that's exactly what people said they didn't want to see with the sequels. Anyway. The DK Vine forum, you can talk about Star Trek or whatever you want. It's at dkvine.com/forum.
Yep.
There's never been a better time to join. Are we in consensus there?
Yeah, that's the conventional wisdom.
I'm trying to think. Well, do you remember last week when you said there'd never been a better time to join? Mm-hmm. I'm just trying to think if things have gotten better since then.
No, that was a lie. That was a lie.
Yeah, much like Conan O'Brien at the start of every show, that was a lie, but we're telling the truth this week.
Oh, right. Well, okay. In that case, I guess there really never has been a better time to join then. Blimey.
Yeah. Exactly. Until next week when we say that this week was a lie.
Chad, you're giving away the game.
I'm showing the seams.
You're destroying the bit.
Oh man, postmodern podcasting.
This is post-menstrual podcasting at this point. Subscribe to the show.
What does that even mean?
It means we're bleeding out of our privates.
Oh, okay.
Or we already bled out of our privates.
Yeah, well,
I'm a little confused by that term because anyway, subscribe to the show on iTunes. You can rate us on iTunes. Don't rape us.
What?
Because, we'll say you raped us, and then Rolling Stone will write an article exposing it, and we'll get a lot of free publicity for the show. But
ooh, and then do you think that our former TV wife will come to our defense?
Former TV, what?
Mariola Schmidt is what I'm talking about.
That's right. Yeah.
I'm just wondering how one would perform a rape on iTunes. Is there a big rape button?
Yeah, you've never used iTunes, clearly.
Obviously, no.
No, Mariola would say, Chad and Hyle never raped anyone on a set of Elvis and Slick, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, exactly.
This is
alleged rape on the set of Elvis and Slick.
I take that back, though. Season 1.
Yeah.
Was that when you just raped the audience?
Yeah, that was basic. Yeah, we raped their ears with canned laughter and whale song.
Yeah. So anyway, follow DK Vine on Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, and YouTube.
Yeah.
Things are always hopping on Facebook. Cameron's banging it up on Tumblr. I don't even know what that means.
Banging it up.
And there's
Get it, girl.
There's a lot of good comments on our YouTube page. Also, you can tell your friends about the Kongversation and spread the word, much like you spread Santorum. So,
what? It's not like a jam. Why would you ever spread Santorum?
Just a little schmear, you know?
Is that what Santorum is? Some kind of jam? See, why do you Americans always use brand names? I'd never know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah, we call it
butter,
we call it
bread jam, rather than say, so the other day I bought a handuki and then I used it on my flambori and it was really good with my snoobiki. It's like, what the fuck are you people talking about?
Yeah, every time we refer to Santorum, we really should be calling it frothy anal mixture.
Ah.
Yeah. Do you not know Santorum, Joe?
No, I don't. I thought it was a brand name. Sorry.
Wow. Okay, so we have a politician from
he's
Pennsylvania.
Explain it. Great.
Hyle? Pennsylvania, yeah. Yes. He's a senator, or was. I don't know if he's still in the Senate.
Nope.
Nope.
But he's going to be a presidential candidate.
Oh boy, called Rick Santorum. He's ridiculously conservative, ridiculously anti-gay, Christian right crusader, and
so naturally the general public love him then.
Well, not quite. No. He's loved by the ridiculously Christian conservative wingnut wing of the Republican Party. He's largely marginalized now, thank God.
Good. So he's
if
like
God existed.
What we have over here, UKIP, which are the ridiculously racist Britain First party.
Yeah, exactly. So a few years back, probably a good decade back now, he was like one of the first loudly homophobic voices in federal politics in America.
And homophobic voices are always the loudest.
Oh yeah, he equated homosexuality to bestiality on several occasions, and so basically he was bestowed the Urban Dictionary definition Santorum, which is. Let me see if I can get this right.
I believe Santorum, the term predates Urban Dictionary. It actually may have
It might have been the
inspired its
first.
creation. Yeah.
Yeah. It could have been the proto-urban dictionary, but basically Santorum, as defined, was a frothy mixture of lube and fecal matter that is often the byproduct of anal sex.
Yeah.
So he was forever associated with that term. And in fact, if you search for Santorum,
Okay, that's a great thing to associate him with. That's such a perfect nickname for, the homophobic bastard. I approve.
yeah, the first hit before you get to Rick Santorum's Wikipedia page is a Wikipedia entry about the Santorum neologism. And then it's Rick Santorum on Wikipedia, and then it's the Urban Dictionary definition of Santorum. So he has been forever tainted with the definition of a taint-worthy term. Yes. So that's Rick Santorum.
Yeah, what a swell guy he is.
Yeah. Because you need a word for everything, don't you?
Yeah, I suppose you do.
So
really do,
that
yeah.
frothy mixture of lube and fecal matter that's often the byproduct of anal sex is now Santorum.
For some reason, I'm now craving a hot chocolate. Is that wrong?
It is wrong.
Yes.
All
So-
right, guys. So look, we have
Never
some-
been a better time to join.
That's right. Yeah. So we have a lot to discuss. Obviously, this is our
Yeah.
big part 1 Smash Brothers discussion.
Yeah.
We have been teasing it for weeks. We're finally all our ducks are in a row. Our wankies are lined up, and we are ready. We are ready to do this episode. But we've got to get through some calls. We've got to talk about some brief news this week. There's a new Nintendo Direct.
Yeah.
So let's get to it. First call.
All right. Hey guys, it's Mamechi again, and I'm sorry about that phone call. I don't know what happened at all. I really don't. In any case, here I am, just asking the same question again. So here's my question. Let's say that Nintendo wanted to get into the movie making business, like, for example, Marvel has. So let's say, just like Marvel, however, Nintendo does not have access to, their most profitable franchises. So no Mario, no Zelda, no Pokemon. Those three are gone. In this hypothetical universe, Nintendo got its rights for those movies taken away a long time ago by selling them to Sony and Fox or whatever. So just like Marvel, Nintendo has to use their other series. So they could use Donkey Kong. So my question is, what do you think a Donkey Kong movie in a Nintendo Cinematic Universe would be like? Do you think it'd be successful? Do you think it'd get a sequel or two? Do you think it could actually make more money than a Mario movie in this universe? And how would Donkey Kong be treated for the big crossover movie like the Avengers, so Smash Brothers movie, however the hell that would work? And yes, I know Mario rights are taken in this universe, but since that Donkey Kong's not a Mario character, so like you guys say all the time, then he's free for Nintendo to use. So that's that out of the way. So once again, how would a Donkey Kong movie work, and would it be successful, and how would he be treated in the big crossover movie? So thanks for listening again, and I'm sorry for that phone call. That ended up, I just don't know what happened. I really don't. It's completely fine. But I just hope this doesn't end up a disaster. So see you guys.
Thank you, Mamechi. Look at him go. He finally called back and told us what the hell he was trying to talk about last week.
Thank you for clarifying. Well, we did hear Zelda. I made that out
Right.
last week, but yeah. Okay, so
No, the Google Translate bot made that out.
yeah, it's inherently biased. The Google Translate bot can never translate DKU words, but Zelda. Yeah, I know that.
Zelda. Okay. Maybe it was just talking about Robin Williams' daughter.
Wow. There's so many tasteless jokes I could make, and I'm not going to
Don't do it.
because I respect Robin Williams. He was a friend of Gorilla's.
I thought you were going to say he's a friend of the show. Is he a friend of gorillas because he is haired like them?
Well, he may have listened to this show. We don't know why he killed himself.
Yeah.
I think quite a few of the people who've heard this show have killed themselves shortly after.
Is that why we can't grow an audience?
It's why we're just constantly cycling through new audience members.
Yeah.
It's why we haven't heard from Scraps in a while.
Okay, so Mamechi, a hypothetical. This is an interesting topic, I think. Although it's extremely specific of a scenario.
Mamechi, I've noticed you give us these questions, but they're extremely scenario heavy. It's never just a basic question. It's okay, assuming that Saturn is aligned with Mars,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Capricorn is in the 4th house.
Right.
Okay, so Joe, why don't you take this one? What do you think?
Okay, well, as a lot of people know, movies adapted from video games generally aren't particularly good, are they? I remember I enjoyed the Tomb Raider movie because I like the Tomb Raider games. It's yep, this is like watching one of the games, but apparently it's not good enough as a proper film.
I would say the first Mortal Kombat movie, it's schlock, but it's entertaining schlock that's faithful.
Yeah, I wouldn't say faithful, but it's entertaining schlock.
Faithful to the schlock that is Mortal Kombat.
I feel like it shouldn't really be. I don't think it really should be faithful to the game, though. I feel like if it's going to be a movie, it should be enjoyable as a movie, not as an adaptation of a video game. It should be a standalone thing.
Yeah, I know, but at the same time, you want to get the basic facts right. You don't want it to be Congo Bongo Island.
Oh no, God no! Obviously, we don't want another Lord Harry. The badly animated CGI French cartoon from the 90s.
Right. Well, in fairness, it was the 90s, so a CGI TV show was going to be badly animated no matter what.
Oh, yeah. Well, I was thinking...
So I think honestly, given the production schedule, they did about as good a job as one could have hoped for. It just like Star Trek, it was the writing that killed it.
Yeah, agreed.
Anyway,
the CGI was fine. It was ugly, but it would have been serviceable. I wouldn't have minded if the writing wasn't whatever the hell they were trying to do.
Yeah. You know what would have made the J.J. Abrams Star Trek better? Making it a musical.
It makes everything better.
Well, I think the perfect tone for a Donkey Kong Country animated series would be Disney's Gravity Falls, which is currently a cartoon made by Disney with the writers of... It's been made by the writers of Homestar Runner, and it's got the writers...
Oh, the brothers Chap?
Matt Chapman, at least. He writes most of them and does a lot of the voices in it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Disney's Gravity Falls, is that the Haley Mills story? Because she's old and her...
boobs have sagged.
Yeah, boobs, yeah.
No, it's kind of a show that presents itself as just a silly, wacky comedy about a bunch of kooky family members, like the Kongs, living in a rural area. In this place, Gravity Falls rather than the Congo jungle. And as the series progresses, it turns out there's this very deep and complex backstory to what's going on, and lots of lore and storytelling, and it becomes a very interesting story while remaining very, very funny. And
you know what I find funny about your promotion of Gravity Falls,
what?
Joe? The exact qualities you like about that are the things you dismiss about Adventure Time.
I know there are a lot of fans of Adventure Time as well as Gravity Falls, yeah. To be honest, the only problem with Adventure Time I have is I just don't really laugh at the jokes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just don't really find it very funny.
All right, fair enough. All right,
I am willing to give it a try. Don't worry, people are always telling me to give it a try, and I will keep trying to like Adventure Time.
It took me 4 tries to get past the first season of Community.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes a show is worth the effort.
Yeah, and definitely, if I like Rick and Morty as well, which also has Justin Roiland in it, who has made a career out of screeching in an annoying voice. So
yeah, in Adventure Time, he does it as Lemons.
Yes, I know. Yeah. To be honest, it left a bad taste in my mouth. Right, I'll explain. My first ever exposure to Adventure Time was thanks to Log Cabin Republican Matt. Right. Who he has a hatred of Rare and Donkey Kong Country and Banjo simply because I'm such a big fan of it and go on about it so much. And as my best mate, he has to just be aloof and annoyed about it. And basically, He showed me a clip of Lemon Grab. And I said, I didn't really find that very funny. He said, I love it when things aimed at kids have got adult-oriented humor in it. That's brilliant. And I went, whoa, 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 whoa. I've been showing you this kind of thing for fucking years, and you've dismissed it every time.
Oh, well, here's the thing, Joe. Like the lemon grabs don't show up until like season 3 or 4 of Adventure Time, and once you get to that point, it's like refreshingly different and adult, but like you sort of need to watch it in context.
Yeah,
so I would advise you to give it another try.
I promise I'll give it a proper try, because I know I've seen a few people say it takes a little while to get used to it. The thing is I was just maybe turned off a bit because of bitterness that he just didn't feel the magic when he played Banjo-Kazooie, and felt a predisposition to dislike, things that I like because there's something in it for kids and for adults. When he used that exact argument to promote Adventure Time.
I think you pedophiles are really weird going on about your kids' cartoons. So anyway, back to what Donkey Kong movies we would like to see.
Right. So
DKC the series, I would say Gravity Falls. The movie, probably maybe, I don't know, like, I hate to say it, but kind of the kind of thing DreamWorks do. Even though I'm not really much of a DreamWorks fan, but that kind of thing, I suppose, would suit Donkey Kong Country as a film.
Well, that's an animation studio. Well, it's hard to say because like I wouldn't lump DreamWorks movies in all in the same category, because you've got like DreamWorks, but then you've got like Blue Sky. That does much more interesting movies. Yes, Ice Age. They're doing the new Peanuts movie. I have a friend from college who's actually a camera guy at Blue Sky. They work on. They actually do much better work than your normal DreamWorks movies, like B Movie, or Shark Tale. So there are even subsections of quality within DreamWorks. I would advise against lumping them all together.
I do kind of dismiss a lot of animated kids films that are just, here are some animals acting like humans, but see, I kind of feel that that's what's happening in Donkey Kong Country, and it works in that context because it's a video game, whereas in a movie I would find it less tolerable. So I'm wondering if maybe they'd have to change the details a bit to make it more watchable,
like palatable.
Yeah.
Chad, Blue Sky is a subsidiary of DreamWorks.
Blue Sky. Well, I think they make movies under the DreamWorks studio, don't they?
I don't think they do. No, I think they're their own entity.
Well, I know they're their own studio, but I thought it was like, Pixar is released under Disney. I thought it was that kind of a situation.
I know Blue Sky is really promoting under their own brand now. So.
Oh, well, good for them. Maybe they're out from under, or maybe they were never there to begin with.
I don't think they ever were. But
Ice Age was not DreamWorks?
No.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, well, fuck it. Never mind.
Yeah. I was never a fan of Ice Age, to be honest. Anyway, I want to leave on a lighter note about my good friend Matt, the Log Cabin Republican, not to be confused with Matt who writes for the site. One good thing about him is he loves collectathons, and he really, really wants to play Donkey Kong 64. So I'll make him play that. He'll probably like it, and maybe he'll become a DK Viner. Hooray!
Hooray!
For my part, I have really Momechi nothing to say about this, because you made it so specific as to invalidate all discussion.
All right, I'll add my 2 cents. All right,
go for it.
Yeah.
So, all right, how would Donkey Kong be treated? Well, if they didn't have access to Mario, Zelda, or Pokemon, I assume like Marvel didn't have access to Spider-Man or the X-Men. I think that's what you're going for.
Or Fantastic Four, those moneymakers.
So I think that. I think Donkey Kong could have like a shot of becoming like an Iron Man breakout hit, like where nobody like really cared about Iron Man before Robert Downey Jr. Was Iron Man. So I think if you get the right tone and aesthetic for Donkey Kong, it could work. It wouldn't just be like a one-off Incredible Hulk. Oh, we'll recast it with Mark Ruffalo in the Smash Brothers movie, and he'll be better received.
The Smash Brothers movie.
I think that I don't know, how would we do it? How would it work? Well, I think Chad and I have expressed our views on how you can make it work as another property many times over. If you look back at the episode where we talk about our cartoon pitch,
the comic book pitch,
comic book pitch, yes, whatever, it could work. But
no, it could not. That's the thing, though. I don't think it's really meant to work in a visual, like a video medium. I think that the voice is too big of an obstacle to surmount. You need to be able to use dialogue boxes because otherwise it's just too weird to have these apes talking.
No, it's not. You just have to go droll with it. You can't go too like over the top, or you get some good voice actors, but don't.
But define that though, like what?
Just have them be regular guys, regular people, instead of like, oh, I'm a gorilla, I'm a monkey.
Wow, you'd make a great casting director, Hyle. We
Well-
need regular guys.
Well, hey, at least we have plenty of options then, right?
What they usually do in CGI animated kids films now is they just hire random celebrities to voice
Right.
all of them. Which I actually,
Will Smith is the fish.
yeah, which I actually really don't like that, to be honest. I think that's
nobody
lazy and
likes.
it's wrong.
Well, people who pay attention don't like it. The masses don't care.
Yeah, like
but,
proper voice actors don't like it because their jobs are being poached by just whatever random big name celebrity they want to try and sell the film.
Right.
Yeah.
you just get Alec Baldwin as Donkey Kong, Will Arnett as Swanky.
Yeah, I kind of agree that they should just sound like people and they shouldn't be doing silly voices or monkeyish noises as they talk. It's kind of like, to be honest, even in like Ratatouille, I found it really distracting and frustrating that all the characters are doing these really over-the-top comic French accents for the whole film.
But it's in France. Although
Yeah, but they're
isn't it
speaking
weird?
English. It's translated for us.
Well, yeah, but it's okay. But that's a kids' movie. You're not gonna half the audience isn't gonna be able to read the subtitles.
I
Yeah, I know,
I
but they
demand
just have them
realism in my
speaking-
Pixar films.
Just have them speaking English in an American accent because if they talk like this, it sounds like they are struggling to speak the accent. No, speak their language when it is their first language. If you know what I mean. It adds like
That's we're getting way off into the weeds because that is an established film convention.
And I hate it. I agree with Joe.
But I just thought it was really odd and unusual in Ratatouille. And it's not like they all spoke in like Greek accents in Hercules, is it? Or like
Well, the Greek, I think in that case, since it was such a period film, Hercules, that it's so far removed from culture that I don't think they felt it was a necessity. But I mean, since American movies became the ubiquitous, just like Hollywood became the center of filmdom, and English became the dominant language outside of Bollywood.
yeah.
People, foreign films were done in accented English. That's how it's been since like the 30s. So I'm not going to fault Pixar for making that decision.
It's really weird that Hercules was a period piece because they all wore white in it.
But what I'm thinking of the
Ew.
Well, the only thing I'm thinking of the Kongs being voiced is in the Vine Donkey Kong audio program where you two and Janelle did impressions of the voices the Kongs have in the games, which
Kikazaru.
yeah, those are hilarious, but like it wouldn't really work for a whole film.
Well, that
but
was
it
supposed to be inherently absurd.
Yeah,
whereas
exactly.
A
It was so
a
over the
film,
top.
you've got to tone it down
Yeah.
and make it more relatable. I think like the key, the reason I brought up the comic was I think the key to make any Donkey Kong thing work is to focus on the generational aspect and the family aspect. Don't focus on the fact that, he's a big dumb ape. He likes bananas. I mean, yeah, obviously bananas will play a part in it, but make them relatable first and foremost.
Yeah, make them human.
Are you saying you're not a big dumb ape who likes bananas, Hyle?
I do like bananas, and I am,
and you are an ape.
and I'm fairly unintelligent. So
Yeah.
but the mainstream won't go for that.
Yeah, I guess not.
That's why all of our projects failed. Jack.
Is that why?
Yeah.
Anyway, so thank you for the call, Mamechi.
We did not answer it at all.
I tried to.
I think we gave honest opinion on how it should be.
Yeah.
How it probably would be. Like to be honest, the problem is adapting it as it is. It would just basically, it wouldn't even matter if it was a video game. Adapting Donkey Kong Country in the state it's in into a film, it would just be another DreamWorks flick. Animals acting like humans, which isn't anything special in the movie industry, but is in video games, and therefore you would have to change it.
There's also the issue of what are you adapting? Because comic book, especially the Marvel, like comic books are so steeped in story. Video games, I mean, we've had to read between the lines to establish legitimate dramatic stakes in any of these games.
Yeah.
You know,
Right, so just take those lines and expand them into 90 minutes.
okay.
The bananas have been stolen. Let's go get them.
Have
Box
you not read my
office gold.
Have you not read my Facebook post? It can be done.
So, next call.
Next call.
Hey, weirdos. It's Seth again for the 114th time. I just want to let you know that the offer still stands. I would love to do a episode where we fight DKU against the Mario universe. Me leading the charge and, somebody who we've never heard of leading the second charge. I could use a partner. But I would like to know, what other podcasts do you listen to? I know this is not DKU related, but I'd like to hear what you got. I mean, you obviously listen to other podcasts, so tell me what you listen to. Okay. I'm going to go now. Goodbye.
Hey, weirdo.
Hey, Seth.
Who are you calling
You
weirdo?
pervert.
Weirdo?
So yeah, Seth is Chad. I don't know if you remember, but the first phone call we ever got from Seth was he challenged us to a debate of Mario versus Donkey Kong. Basically,
Right.
us defending Donkey Kong, him representing Mario, and then he backed out of it and dropped off the face of the earth. And then started showing back up a little bit later.
Presumably because he couldn't afford $150 to get
So
on the
it's
show.
not about the Mario versus Donkey Kong series. It's literally about the character Mario versus the character Donkey Kong.
The franchises, the respective series,
I
debating
see.
the merits. Yes.
Yes. Okay. Well,
Well,
the point I've often made about Donkey Kong Country is it's a more clever and sophisticated version of Super Mario Brothers, which is kind of what you graduate to when you're fed up of Mario. And in many ways, that's kind of what a lot of Rare's games were in their heyday. Like Banjo-Kazooie was a cleverer 3D platformer from when you were done with Super Mario 64. Diddy Kong Racing was for those who were fed up with Mario Kart 64. It's just kind of for more sophisticated gamers with more skills and who wanted to experience maybe a richer, deeper universe.
I don't know if fed up is the right word because I didn't know I didn't get fed up with those games until after I played Rare's takes on them.
Oh, right.
And I was like, oh,
you saw that there's a better way.
Well, I saw that there was a way that was more suited to my taste and my preferences, and
Right.
I was being catered to more so than I ever was with the Mario series.
So I think, Seth, what we're trying to say is we're not committing to anything, but I think that there is there's some fruit there to be plucked. But his actual question was what podcasts we listen to.
Oh, well, okay. Chad, Joe, I know you guys listen to a lot more podcasts than I do. I will have something to contribute, but you guys knock it off.
I don't really listen to any podcasts. There was one I suppose it's still around. It only updates like once a year, which is a Red Dwarf podcast called Dwarfcasts. The British sci-fi sitcom Red Dwarf, which is hilarious because it's
I thought you meant the Donkey Kong Land 3 level
Red Dwarf, which is what it's named after.
Ooh.
Yep, it's a Red Dwarf reference. I was always
wait, there's a podcast about Red Dwarf? Wow.
yeah,
incredibly specific.
So many people can't get past that first level,
So I'll go down. Well, what was that one called?
Dwarfcasts, and that's very funny because it's quite similar to this, really. But they kind of just watch the show. They have a few drinks, kind of laugh. They use the cunt word quite a lot. And then they talk about lots of very...
Wait, which word is that? What's
it's
the
the one
word?
that starts with cunt and ends with cunt.
Cunt?
Cunt, that's the one. Yeah.
Okay.
While also being very intelligent and well-versed in how the show was made, because quite a few of them work in television and know a few things about how TV programs get created. So they're just fans of the show, but they do know, they can spot what's happened in the show and can talk about how it was made.
If they ever need to come up with a female equivalent of the Mario character Boom Boom, should be Cunt Cunt.
They have. Didn't you
Have
know?
they?
Yeah, Pom Pom.
Oh, good Lord, I'm done.
All right. I'll go down. So I've just pulled up my podcast feed, and I'll go down them in no particular order. Serial, I listen to that along with everyone else in the fucking world.
Jerry Seinfeld loves that one.
Yeah. Wait, what?
He likes cereal.
Does he like
I was going to say
cereal?
Al Gore. Yeah, guys, I'm
Oh,
totally
he's
cereal.
super cereal. Yes. Matt and Cobley's podcast. I
Oh,
love that.
Fuck that one. Yes, of course, I listened to that one as well. Sorry.
Yeah, I hope they get I hope they do another season. I hope they get renewed. Kumail Nanjiani's The X-Files Files. It's a very good dissection of X-Files, 2 episodes at a time. Talking Tunes with Rob Paulson.
Wait, on the X-Files podcast, do they go on tangents about Donkey Kong?
No, usually it's just late night.
Okay.
Talking Tunes with Rob Paulson. It's pretty good. It's sort of an irregular schedule, but it was good. The Nature podcast, which is put on by Nature Publishing, which is a subsidiary of my current employer, Macmillan. They basically, it's the latest and greatest news in the world of nature, scientific journals, new discoveries. They do it on a bi-weekly basis, or semi-weekly. They do it twice a week. Usually one is a news update, and then they have another episode that's called Futures, where they have someone read a sci-fi short story, which is really cool.
Why don't we do this show two episodes a week?
Oh, God.
You're on your own there.
Yeah.
The Daily Show podcast without Jon Stewart, which honestly I enjoy quite a bit more than The Daily Show with Jon Stewart.
Oh,
It's become kind of hacky and samey, and in a post-Colbert world, you really miss Colbert. But the Daily Show podcast without Jon Stewart is a very interesting look at actually what goes into producing the show. And they have producers, correspondents, writers on the show. It's pretty interesting. Every couple weeks that one comes out. I also have the DK Vine Forum Watch on my feed.
The Forum Watch as well. Sorry.
Hasn't been updated since November 14th.
Well, exactly. I'm not really. I haven't included the ones that haven't been updated in a while, because otherwise then I could say the Vine, the Pod DK Cast, and the Forum Watch.
Yeah. I got those on this list as well. But
yeah. See, you've already touched. I listened to those.
Okay. Lobocast.
Yep, Lobocast, I was going to say.
Yeah, inside the development of Lobo Destroyo, Left-Handed Games.
We know more than you do.
Yeah, because we're writing the fucking game. All right, Comedy Bang Bang. Here we're getting into like real legit shows. Comedy Bang Bang, hilarious.
Is that the female Boom Boom, or is...
Yes. Comedy Bang Bang is great. I enjoy the podcast more than I enjoy the TV show, although that has its place when herbed up a little bit. The Nerdist, which is sort of a...
Oh, man. Really?
Well, here's the thing. I don't listen... Okay, first off, Chris Hardwick is much more tolerable when he's not on television. Playing to the cameras.
I will agree. Chris Hardwick is much more tolerable when he's not on my TV.
I listen to The Nerdist if there's a guest that I'm interested in. Like over the Christmas holiday, they did a Paul McCartney episode. It was a long-form 90-minute interview with Paul McCartney. Very interesting. The Giant Bombcast, that's when I was commuting like sometimes 3 to 4 hours a day, and I would run out of all the aforementioned, and I needed something else to fill the time. So I would listen to the first, 30 minutes or so of the Giant Bombcast, video game podcast. How Did This Get Made? That's run by Paul Scheer, June Scheer, I guess. June is his wife, and guy who plays Rafi on The League, Jason Mantzoukas, who's fucking hilarious. They basically watch terrible movies and discuss at length how did these movies get made.
So it's like a riff tracks type thing then?
No, it's not commentary.
Oh.
They watch the movie and then discuss the movie.
Okay.
But it's hilarious, and they just finished 100 episodes. Anyway, Doug Loves Movies is also one of those gap fillers. It's sort
is
of
that the continuation of Nickelodeon and Disney's Doug?
Actually, this continues the universe where Roger Klotz is rich, and no one liked the show.
That's this universe, isn't it?
Hey, let's take Doug and remove all the heart from it.
Yeah. By heart, you mean Billy West. It was a different voice
It's the
actor.
same with Ren and Stimpy. You remove Billy West from something and it just fucking dies.
But John Kay is so much better than Billy West.
John Kay is the worst fucking animator ever.
Yeah. he basically he's just aping Tex Avery, right?
Well, I mean, what he did is great. I just think his work is fine, but what he does as a human being is he's a complete asshole, basically.
Oh.
Yeah, no, his
Yeah, yeah.
animation's great, and his, crazy world he created, all fine.
So you mean he's a terrible showrunner, not necessarily a terrible animator?
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
And
slash human being.
Slash human being, yeah.
Yeah. Well, Joe, what's really hilarious that we should hinge a whole Ren and Stimpy show on?
What?
Anal sex, because like they're gay. Isn't that hilarious?
It's so...
To be fair, guys, a substantial amount of this episode has been dedicated to anal sex as it is.
Because we're all like kind of having it as we record.
Well, yeah. I mean,
we are running a train on each other right now.
Yeah. Thankfully, we started up our sploosh filters before we began recording.
Sploosh filters.
Otherwise, it would just be like skin on skin and semen all over the place.
Oh, yeah, just another recording session in the X-Boy dungeon.
I am a gentleman. I will not ejaculate until you gentlemen do. So,
jeez, 2 hours, Hyle. Doug loves movies, and then bringing up the rear, like Stimpy and Ren. The Nintendo voice chat, when I'm not pissed off enough at IGN, I listen to what their host, I forget his fucking name, Jose Otero, has to say.
I think I know why you suffered from so much road rage when you were having these long commutes.
Yeah, because I'm listening to these fucking assholes.
It's like, Chad, maybe you should have listened to nature sounds rather than nature podcasts.
I had the nature yeah. That was just, I was learning about the microcephalic hobbits from, off the coast of New Guinea instead of nature sounds. So that's my list of podcasts.
Good Lord, Chad, when do you have time to sleep or take a dump?
Well, thankfully, listening to podcasts and taking a dump are not mutually exclusive.
Yeah. The sound of my massive defecation just overwhelms the podcast. I can't make it up.
I've been telling you this for 15 years. You need to shit more than twice a month.
Oh, God. It's actually been like 4 days for me right now.
Jeez, no one wants to know that.
It's going to be an epic night, my friends.
So, Seth, I hope...
the great mighty Pooh, and I'm going to throw my shit at you. Sorry.
Here we go. Joe, you really opened the floodgates there.
Yo, what?
I would like to add that I don't listen to too many podcasts, and the ones I really do listen to have already been touched upon. Lobocast, Matt and Cobley's, the Pod DK Cast, Forum Watch. But I actually do spend a lot of time. It's not a podcast, but I like anything put out by the Red Letter Media guys.
Yeah. That's more of a web series, so I didn't include it.
It is, but I feel like I don't dedicate my time to podcasts, but I am just in love with pretty much anything they do. My views mostly align with theirs, and when they don't, they always provide a good enough reason that I can see their point of view. And it's just, if you like movies, if you like bad movies, if you hate movies, there's something for you at redlettermedia.com.
Yeah, perfect time to mention, Hyle, that a few weeks ago you suggested I check that site out because I mentioned I look at Nostalgia Critic, and you said, no, here's something much better. And I saw the one on the Star Wars Holiday Special. Yeah, it's a really interesting and entertaining show, I'd say.
Well, which one? The actual one, or the one where they're avoiding talking about the Star Wars Holiday Special?
They were just sitting around. They were just sitting around a table, but like you could see all their faces, and they're just having a natural, normal conversation. Drinking and talking about the thing that they've watched, and rather than doing a comedy performance, overreacting to the faults in the things they've just watched, they're just giving their honest opinions and being funny naturally. A bit like what we're doing right now.
They're all fairly capable filmmakers as well, so they know what they're talking about.
Exactly. So as with the dwarf casting I mentioned before, it's extra interesting when you know that these people giving the criticism, know what they're on about, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, so if we're going web series now, I watch Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee.
Which is the spiritual successor to B-Movie.
Right, it's a continuation of that world. It's interesting though, because he had both David Letterman and Jay Leno on his show. So he gets such an interesting cross section of comedians, and I'll tell you this, man, they had a recent episode with Amy Schumer as the guest, and
with Jay Leno, he was probably like, get this coffee out of the car. It's a vintage 1950 blah 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 blah.
Seinfeld is a gearhead as well. That's part of the whole point of the show.
Okay.
Yeah, so they got along swimmingly. But no, you always get to see a side of comedians that you don't necessarily see from their performances. Amy Schumer is very hit or miss for me, but her episode of that show was fucking hilarious. And it gave me not only a better sense of who she is as a person and comedian, but it made me appreciate her product more.
Even if it doesn't necessarily appeal to you, you can at least appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Because
I feel like it's important.
Yeah, they talk about, because being comedian is so rooted in the personal viewpoint, and so I feel like you can appreciate the comedy more if you are able to look behind the curtain a little bit and appreciate the person. And that's what I like about that show. Yeah. So. Yeah. Any web series, Joe, while we're on the topic? I know Seth is getting way more than his call was originally for.
Web series. Well, I would have said Homestar Runner, but that came back for like 2 episodes and then disappeared again. So, no, not really.
They're off to Gravity Falls now.
Yeah. But Gravity Falls is so good. What they should have just done was just replace the Homestar website with a big advert that said, "Go watch Gravity Falls," because I'm perfectly happy to have no more Homestar if it means you get Gravity, because it's so good.
Oh, that's exactly what we did when DK Vine got on Something Awful's Weekend Web. We replaced the whole site with a banner that said, "Go watch Elvis and Slick Monty."
No, maybe I shouldn't quite say that, because Homestar Runner is kind of what inspired me to become an animator. And maybe I should treat the show with a little more respect than that. And I also like to brag and say that I'm a better animator than them now. I could do better than that.
Well, why aren't you, huh? Where's Joe's Homestar Runner, huh?
Exactly. I don't have any fans at all. My cartoons are awful and nobody likes them, but they sure are well animated.
Yeah, Homestar Runner, one of their defining strengths was that they premiered in a world that didn't have online video content, and because they were using Flash, they were able to make video. Like, you couldn't.
It was really ahead of its time, wasn't it?
Yeah, I watched Homestar Runner in 2001, 2002 on a dial-up modem, because all you had to download was vector graphics and audio.
Yeah, to be fair, I say my animation's better, but it was deliberately stunted. 1, so it could load quickly, and 2, what was 2? 2, so they could make a new one every week.
Yeah. And Strong Bad was largely just him staring at the screen, and occasionally they would do more with it.
Yeah, exactly. You look staring at the back of a guy's head.
Yeah. All right, so next call.
Let's take one more call. We have got a couple calls in the old call mailbox this week, but let's take one more, I would say, and then we could save the rest for next week.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Hey, Kongversation. Hope y'all had a good New Year. This is Kevin Folgers here. Nice nudges to my name that have been recently made, under copyright infringement, of course. I'm really excited for your Super Smash Bros. Wii U impressions. After all the hype you guys have been posting about it, I'm really looking forward to that episode. So, if my call gets taken during that episode, perhaps this might be a good time to discuss. Now, I'm not getting my hopes up for any Donkey Kong-related downloadable content. I mean, let's face it. I did that all last year, but I'll jump to the question. Who do you think would have the better shot of being DLC? King K. Rool or Dixie Kong? I mean, King K. Rool's got his popularity going for him and all that moveset potential. But Dixie Kong would be easy to program, as mentioned in the New Year's forecast. And, well, a lot of the people would say, oh, she's relevant, even though relevance shouldn't even be an issue to begin with. Frankly, I think that K. Rool might have a better shot just because of how massively popular he is and how he's so wanted. But I really would like to see both of them in there. That's a long shot. If not, well, we'll get them in Smash 5. So, have a great day, everyone. It was great to talk to the Kongversation again. Look forward to a great new season. Oh, and I love the new intro, by the way.
The best part of waking up is Folgers in your answer machine.
Kevin Folgers.
Yeah.
Made from crystallized Jews.
What?
We don't have Folgers coffee in this country, so I've been nodding and smiling for this entire joke.
For the last 4 weeks.
yeah. I've just been letting you do your
Folgers
thing. Whatever.
Folgers is a brand of coffee that's enjoyed by incestuous siblings.
Ah, of course.
Only in the holidays, though, when they have to come back home and they're away from their significant others, so they get a little wincest going on.
And also because then they can tell their parents, oh, I don't know where this sticky mess came from. It might have been a candy cane. It might have been ejaculate. I don't know.
It could be any of these things, Mom and Dad.
So, Kevin, thank you for the call. And yes, I'm glad you're looking forward to our Smash Brothers episode. Believe it or not, this is it.
Yeah, can't you tell?
So this will be kind of a nice segue into the discussion itself,
Right,
although we have to
right.
touch upon that direct a little bit. So, yeah, you're not optimistic about DK DLC? Neither am I.
No.
And,
It's
I'm not really that optimistic about DLC in general.
I think Mewtwo's it. I honestly do.
Yeah?
I think Sakurai is such a fussy perfectionist that he doesn't want to sully his vision.
I think
with,
there'll be more DLC, but the thing is, it's just, as I've said before, it's just the East and Western divide. They're just not bothered about Donkey Kong Country because it's Western developed.
It's like West Side Story, man. It's like West Side Story. All we need to do is have a Donkey Kong character fall in love with a Fire Emblem character.
Really? So that's the those are the Capulets and Montagues in your world, is Fire Emblem and Donkey Kong?
I still haven't seen
very
any artwork
Shakespearean.
of Bishi Kong, by the way. Come on, fans, get to drawing that blue-haired pretty boy Kong with a massive sword shaped like a banana.
I do agree though that if we do get DK DLC, it's going to be Dixie. I mean, I think it's going to be the laziest option imaginable. And I mean, all due respect to Dixie, I love the character, but she's going to be the easiest one to whip up.
Yeah. People often say to me they should have done Dixie as a skin for Diddy, and I say no, she's too different. She deserves better than that.
She's incredibly different.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm a little annoyed. As much as I love Tropical Freeze, I'm a little annoyed that Dixie and Diddy are so similar in that game.
Yeah.
I mean, Dixie is just a slightly better version of Diddy.
So what you're saying is they enjoy a good cup of Folgers, if you know what I mean.
I don't know.
I don't know what you mean. No.
They're like siblings.
Ah.
You made like 3 leaps to make that, and you didn't let us into any of them.
I call that a quantum leap.
Okay, so from now on, whenever Hyle makes a terrible joke that's incomprehensible, we'll refer to him as Mr. Bacula.
Mr.
I'd be okay
Bacula.
with that. He's like the 5th best Star Trek captain.
Are we counting Chris Pine in that?
Because remember, Enterprise is the only Star Trek show that's canon in both the original universe and the Abrams universe.
That's true. It all predates Nero going back in time and blowing up Vulcan.
They actually name drop Archer in the first Star Trek, the 2009 one. So.
Lana! So,
Anyway, I would actually say Dixie has a better chance, deserves it more, because she starred in a video game, 2 even. She was the star of 2 video games. She's a video game hero. She deserves to be in Smash Brothers.
Yeah, but Smash Brothers needs more villains. It
I
really does.
agree with Hyle there.
Yeah, I guess.
As much as I would like to see Dixie, Smash Brothers, they need to be, I think, more representative of both sides of the character coin.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be
definitely.
honest. I think both Dixie and K. Rool deserve to be in Smash Brothers.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
not gonna
absolutely.
happen. It's not going to happen. But
No.
yeah, I think that I hate having to choose between the two. I just know that knowing the way Nintendo would think, oh, okay, DLC. Well, I guess throw in a fucking Donkey Kong character.
Yeah.
Just do Dixie, whatever, get her done, whatever.
Really
it's
annoyed-
not going to be in it.
It's so annoying, because who the hell would know who King DDD is if not for Smash Brothers and Sakurai's favoritism? You know?
Yeah.
He would be so
I mean,
obscure.
I to an extent I agree, but there was a Kirby anime from a few years ago.
Yeah, that's true, I suppose.
Yeah, and also, I mean, King Dedede is in almost all the Kirbys, right?
Yeah, I would say King DDD is on the same level as K. Rool, which is why people saying K. Rool, isn't well known enough kind of irks me. It's like, well, no, if King DDD can be in, so can K. Rool, but whatever. That's just petty fan shit on my
Speaking
part.
of being irked, why don't they put Invader Zim in there or Goku?
Shrek.
Yeah, let's get Shrek in there.
Well, how about some Blue Sky characters? How about the parrots from Rio?
Oh yeah, or the parrots from Rio 2. What about Charlie Brown? He could depress his opponents to death.
He could go to kick them, and he could miss every time. What a horrible final smash.
It's almost as bad as Pichu. All right, so thank you for the call, Mr. Folgers. Let's start talking about the Nintendo Direct.
Yes.
So yeah, guys, let's start with the biggest news. A certain D Kong is playable in Mario Party for the first time in a decade.
You mean Dinky Kong from the Japanese version of Donkey Kong Land 3 Game Boy Color?
Yep, I finally he's canon in the West.
Hooray!
Yes. So Mario Party 10 is now DKU officially because Donkey Kong makes a physical appearance.
I really don't.
Not just a physical appearance. He's
A
a
playable
playable appearance.
Yeah.
I don't have high hopes for this game. Like, to be honest, like I know that sounds
sound
like an
so
understatement,
serious.
but like I know Mario Party is widely hated on DK Vine, but me,
No. Clarification. It's widely hated among the staff. You go on the forum,
yeah.
and people will be defending it left and right. It's like they're-
It's just
That's
good
a thing?
Friends around the house. Everyone's drunk. We're about to go out. Let's have a quick game of something silly. Let's play mini games against each other. Mario Party.
Everyone's
fun,
drunk and bored. You have a quick game of orgy. You don't play Mario Party 10.
Anyway, what I'm saying is, what I don't get about Mario Party 10 is that all the characters move around the board at the same time. Doesn't that defeat the whole point of a board game?
Oh shit, are they doing that? I know that was how
Yeah,
Mario Party 9 was.
they are.
Is that being carried over?
Yeah, and it's like, what? Why? Why change that?
because it was boring. Stop being boring. This is the Reddit generation, Joe.
Yeah,
Everyone's got an
lame
attention.
and unnecessary. Do not repeat Mario Party.
Well, we were saying that back in 2002. So
Right, we were the proto Reddit.
yeah, it's. I mean, Mario Party. Like I've played them through I think 6. And I've got like a stack of them I still need to play. But
No, you don't.
So
well, I do have a stack of them.
You need
yes.
to beat Donkey Konga 2 first.
So what's the most recent DKU Mario Party numbered? Not like, Mario Party DSi or some shit. The most recent numbered one that is DKU.
He was
9.
He was a 9.
9.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
he-
all of them.
there was like
oh, God.
There was like a board at the end where he was like the host of it.
I was really hoping
think.
we'd escape from it for a couple of years, but we just can't get out of it. Now we're being dragged
No.
back in, can't we?
Yeah.
He wasn't in one of the portable. He wasn't in a couple of the portable games, but it was like his role was being reduced. Last time he was playable was in Mario Party 4 back in 2002.
That long ago.
So,
Oh, blimey.
or is it 2003? I can't.
Seriously,
remember.
he wasn't playable in any of the ones after that?
Nope.
Wow.
He was a NPC on the board. He acted as the heroic counterpart to Bowser. So he would give you stars instead of taking stars from you.
Well, at least he was a hero for a change.
Yeah, you're right. But all the same, it was kind of odd because it was at the time when Nintendo was adding Donkey Kong characters left and right to these Mario competition party games.
Yeah.
And Mario Party, they were actually actively reducing his role. So I'm not sure what the actual story behind that was. But
I'll tell you why they're increasing his role here is because alongside the announcement of Mario Party 10 was a whole line of Mario amiibo that are now double dipping with a lot of the Smash Brothers cast.
Yeah.
And we are getting, basically they want the big name characters to have a second amiibo in the Super Mario line. So that's why we're getting Donkey Kong there.
And honestly, you're exactly right. That is why he's playable again. I'm sure somebody said, "Hey, we want to have another Donkey Kong amiibo in this Mario line. Make him playable, you fucks." It was Jeremy Thorne. He actually got a job there.
Oh, good for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, this whole, I kind of predicted something like this would happen, that different series would get their own set of amiibos. And there's,
Well,
so we'll
they
probably get...
said as much, didn't they?
So probably get Zelda amiibos, Pokemon amiibos, and I did suggest earlier on Skype, what if we got Donkey Kong Country amiibos? And everyone just went, no, of course not, no. So
Well, no, I think we would all love that.
We would
but
love it,
We
but
said
it won't
no
happen.
because it's never
it's
going
never
to fucking
gonna happen.
happen.
Yeah, that's what I meant. It's just not.
It might happen if
Do Retro have the power to make it happen? If Retro can do it, and it's not all entirely handled by Nintendo, maybe they can, get the foot in the door.
here's how it's gonna happen, guys. If Diddy Kong Racing Wii U is a reality, then it's gonna happen. No, I'm serious.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Okay.
But we'll have to ask Kevin Callahan about that.
Yeah.
By the way, Kevin Callahan, call us, please. Actually, he might have, but that's another story.
Maybe he used a different word when he tried to call us.
Have we found any evidence that this man exists yet?
Absolutely not. It's fake. There is
It's
no
got
Diddy
to be
Kong
fake
Racing Wii
then,
U.
hasn't it?
It's obviously fake.
Chad, how would you like a gentleman's wager?
Okay.
Okay, if Diddy Kong Racing Wii U is released sometime in the next 20 years.
20 years.
Not Wii U. If a new
reasonable.
Diddy Kong Racing is released sometime in the next 20 years.
Uh-huh.
And that includes a
You have
port of the original.
No.
No.
I'm being
No.
honest here. If you have to say, I was wrong, Hyle was right.
All right, fine.
Here's the thing, I think the story all holds up.
20 years. Let's start the clock.
I think the story and the rumors about the whole Diddy Kong Racing Wii U thing, it all holds up, about the whole bloody Excite Bike Animals, being some obscure game that fell off the radar, actually being intended for... Yeah, it all makes sense. It's just the Kevin Callahan person doesn't seem to exist, and it's just I'm willing to believe to some extent that it's a pseudonym, but I don't think Kevin Callahan exists with that name.
I don't know. I disagree. I think it doesn't make sense. I think the whole thing hinges upon the frog motorcycle that kind of looks like Winky a little bit. That's the only stretch. I mean, I don't see it making sense at all, even.
But there's also
I
just
think-
the complete extradition of Diddy from Mario Kart 8 that he's just plain not in it, not acknowledged, no amiibo support even, not even support for his amiibo, which is relevant to Mario.
But to me, that's looking at random data points and seeing a trend line.
Oh yeah, fair enough.
No, it all makes sense to me. It actually makes more sense than things like the Bible. So,
Well, yes, but if we're judging against the fucking Bible, a lot of things are going to make more sense. The 9/11 truthers make more sense than the goddamn Bible.
okay.
David Icke makes more sense than the fucking Bible. Are you kidding me? You're using the Bible as your standard for sensible information or not? Like,
I'm just saying, a lot of people believe the Bible, and I find this story to be more believable. Ergo,
Hyle, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. A lot of people were brainwashed as children to believe that the Bible is literal truth.
It's almost as
Oh,
if the
wow.
Bible were written by a bunch of homophobic, sexist idiots thousands of years ago or something.
That's crazy, Joe. The Bible's the word of God.
why can't we get a new audience again? So anyway, okay. But besides the point, if there was a DKC series of Amiibo, that
Yes.
I was thinking about this because would this mean that Donkey Kong would be the only character, maybe Diddy, to have the possibility of having 3 Amiibos in 3 different lines? Because he can get in Super Mario, he can get in Smash Brothers, he can get in his own series. Would anybody else have that? Because Mario, where would Mario have his 3rd Amiibo? Yeah, think about
Mario Kart.
Yeah, you got a good point. They could put him in a cart and make an amiibo out
it.
of it.
Okay, you're right there. But
Luigi as well.
the-
Luigi's Mansion could do that as well.
Yeah, the fact they haven't yet, though, is a good sign, because they could have just released a Mario Kart 8 line of amiibos, retroactively. Oh, here we go. This ties into the new Mario Kart 8 features. But
Yoshi
I was really
Yoshi could have Yoshi's Island. Wario could have WarioWare and Wario Land.
yeah, but that's really stretching it. Like, I think there's a chance we could see a DK line of amiibos. There's a very, very slim chance we'll ever see a WarioWare.
I was really surprised at how quickly Phase 2 of Amiibo was released, and I thought it was going to take until February for Phase 2. So this tells me that Nintendo has they have a backlog of amiibo that they're going to continuously release. Like, they don't give a shit about double and triple dipping. I can easily see it go on forever.
At the very least, the software is the same. Like if you have any Mario amiibo, it works the same across all games.
Now it does. It does right now, but I think the data that is on each of them is the character and the series line that it's from.
Yeah, but they said it's going to these will work the same way in Smash Brothers, or you can use your Smash Brothers amiibos in this. There's no difference between the two.
No, but what I'm saying, there's no difference in the way that those two pieces of software interact with them, but there is difference in the data in the amiibo.
Have they said that though?
Yeah. The read-only data is the character and the line. Thankfully, Smash Brothers and Mario Party 10, they announced that it only really cares about the character. The line is agnostic. But yes. That's the technical term. But of course, they also have the read-write data, which, if you want to use one on Smash Brothers on Mario Party 10, you have to erase it first, yada, yada. But what I'm saying is, while they're not leveraging the series as a gate point of saying, no, it's not compatible, they could potentially do that in the future because the data is on the amiibo.
I think that's going to be confusing as hell.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know, but I think they're being smart about it right now in this double dipping.
They're being smart about amiibo. Hyle Russell.
Well, yeah.
Okay. I can compliment Nintendo every now and then. They're handling this better than I thought they would, which is like what you just described. They're not doing that yet.
That's true.
As far as I'm concerned,
thing.
These things are flying off the shelves. They're making a shit ton of money. Nintendo don't give a fuck. They're just going to carry on selling them.
Yeah, but here's the thing. How many people are going to buy this different versions of the same character? You're going to start seeing diminishing returns very quickly. Maybe I'm wrong, or maybe people are just going to buy these things and they don't care.
No, I think what's going to happen is they'll start to phase out the older lines when they introduce the new one. So you'll start to see fewer and fewer Smash Brothers amiibo in the store once they start rolling out the Super Mario Brothers line. And I think that's part of the reason they're releasing them so quickly, is because they've probably only manufactured so many of them, to accommodate like a 3-month window, and then they'll basically be gone.
Yeah, I just think that it starts to lose its appeal because initially it was like, oh, amiibo, and I'm gonna these are the Nintendo characters, but now it's just gonna be the same Nintendo characters coming out, and people are gonna start losing interest when you don't have, every obscure, Smash Brother character in there. It's gonna be oh, here's another Mario, here's another Mario.
We were talking about this off the show, and I think that had they done the Smash Brothers ones not in the signature style of Smash, but just representing those characters sort of as if they were in their own worlds, they could use all of them as like the first figure in that character's line, since all the characters in Smash are representative of a series. Like, Mario would be the exact same figure as the Mario in the Mario Brothers line. Same with Donkey Kong. Link and Zelda, basically... The Smash Brothers Link and Zelda are identical to the Zelda Link and Zelda, and then you can continue the line with a Tingle and an Impa and so on and so forth.
Kind of like how Jack Specific is promoting their line of figures, where it's all under the World of Nintendo line, but then there's the Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze figures, and then there's the Legend of Zelda figures and the Super Mario figures.
Right. But like
they're all branded as such. So
Yes.
amiibos, there's that harsh dividing line of this is the Smash Brothers series, all these characters.
Right. I think that was a mistake, especially if they're going to introduce them in a crossover series. Leverage the power of that crossover and let each character not be a representative of Smash, but a representative of their own universe.
Agreed.
And then you could start all of those lines.
Well, considering Amiibo is completely worthless in Smash Brothers, in my opinion, Joe, you might feel differently.
I've seen every game that uses Amiibo so far just hasn't used it really for anything that justifies getting one.
Mario Party 10 has the most interesting gimmick, but it's locking out game content with the Amiibos.
See,
basically, you get an exclusive board.
I've been playing Super
Amiibo.
Smash Brothers for Wii U, which I promise my dear listeners we will be discussing later.
Eventually.
With my Diddy Kong Amiibo, who's now level 50, and once they reach level 50, it will win every match. And so at that point, you just stop using it because you're going to lose. So
And how long does it take to get to level 50?
like a few matches, like not very long, probably less than
a couple hours.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
done.
I really don't see how they're going to pull this off. There's so many Nintendo ideas nowadays that just don't really matter because they just don't have a purpose. You know, like the gamepad.
The vitality sensor.
Yeah, whatever that is.
The sex hole.
Yeah, the sex
Yeah,
hole.
none of my sex holes have any purpose, to be honest.
They call that the Nintendo Glory. Glorii.
Glory, charming.
So what else? Mario versus Donkey Kong.
Mario versus Donkey Kong tipping cows or whatever it was called.
Tipping stars. So
Tipping stars, yeah.
We don't yet know if this is a proper Donkey Kong Universe game.
Yeah, because it's a game with Donkey Kong in the title, but Donkey Kong has not yet appeared in any.
No, it's just been like the Donkey Kong robot from Mario and Donkey Kong Minis on the Move, which was a DLC title.
I would absolutely love it if this game is not DKU, despite having his name in the title. That just sums up the DK Vine attitude in a nutshell.
Yep.
Yeah. But I guess it's cool. There's going to be a Wii U and a 3DS version, and if you buy the Wii U version, you get the 3DS version for free. So at least it's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Good for them doing that. I will applaud that decision.
It's just a downloadable eShop thing, right? It's not a big release in retail, is it?
It's not a physical release, and so whatever. But I do think maybe when the game comes out, we should have resident Mario versus Donkey Kong fanatic I Am Gibbon on the show.
Yes,
to discuss, because I don't have anything to say about this. I would be interested in hearing his perspective though. So
here's the thing. I'm back at university now with my Nintendo loving roommates who love all of Nintendo except Donkey Kong. Like I fill that one gap that they never really explored. And even they all went during the Direct when Mario vs. Donkey Kong came up. It doesn't appeal to Mario fans and it doesn't appeal to Donkey Kong fans. Who the hell are they making these games for? And why do they keep making them?
I will say this about the game. At least they have used Miiverse correctly.
Yeah.
Basically, they said that in this game now, Miiverse is not the kind of thing that you have to hit the home button and exit out of the software, which takes 5-10 seconds, and do something in this really obtuse interface. More on obtuse interfaces very soon.
Oh yes.
In order to play it with other people or to share levels or anything, they said it's fully integrated into the game itself. So presumably there would be minimal, if any, load time to, create a course, share it with friends, see what else is on there. If they're actually using Miiverse to its full potential in that way, while I don't really give a shit about Mario versus Donkey Kong, I would love to see that Miiverse integration done more in the future, because so far, to me, Miiverse it's Nintendo doing a social network about as well as Nintendo does online.
It's Nintendo doing the social network about as well as Aaron Sorkin does television now.
Honestly, I quite like Miiverse. I've got a soft spot for it. I just think it's really cool to show people what I'm doing on the game and write a little comment about it. As simple as that. And my friends can see what I'm up to and comment on it. It's just like Steam combined with Facebook, really. And
it's fine for that, but they also lauded Miiverse as the venue in which you do matchmaking or you share levels. Like there's so much Miiverse functionality, or at least they claim there to be so much more Miiverse functionality than just sharing screenshots and making posts that they really have not supported at all.
No, Miiverse was great at ruining the Smash Brothers website this time around, and also providing us many pictures of Cat Mario pooting. So, bravo,
marvelous.
There's gonna be easier Miiverse interfacing, whatever, with the 3DS version, because there's going to be the new 3DS. We should talk about that real quick.
Sorry. I know this is really unprofessional, but can I please go get a glass of water because my throat is really parched?
All right,
I'll be
you
right
go
back.
do that, and we'll talk about the new 3DS, despite the fact that you're the only one of the three of us that actually owns one.
Can we just do like an R or something and cut this bit out, please?
I don't know what you're talking about, Joe.
Ugh.
Go get your water. We're talking about Nintendo 3DS.
This train ain't stopping, Joe.
No, sir. I hope he's getting his water, because, Hyle, what do you think about the new Nintendo 3DS?
Okay, one, it's always annoying that Nintendo releases a better version of the thing you bought a couple years ago. However, it looks pretty sweet. It's got features
Hello, I'm back.
really...
Oh,
Joe,
shit. Stop talking about how much you hate Joe, Hyle. He's back.
Oh, do you think he heard?
He might have heard how much you hate him.
Oh, that's
Play it
awkward.
off. Play it off. Be cool. Be cool.
You know, I like Joe.
I, too, am fond of Joe.
He's all right.
Yeah, he's okay. So, Joe, you have a new Nintendo 3DS.
I was giving my opinion, and you cut me off because Joe's back.
I have imported from Australia a new Nintendo 3DS, and it's great. It's fantastic. In a nutshell.
Were there were no huntsmen in the packaging or anything?
Just a bunch of like scrap 69's congealed semen.
Oh, well, yeah, I mean he works at the post office for exactly that purpose.
Oh yeah. Just to yeah.
Or at least he did. We don't know if he committed suicide or not.
Yeah, but it's like
That's the Vegemite of 2015.
what?
Scraps congealed semen.
Ah,
Yeah.
I see.
Anyway.
Well, anyway, yeah. I had a 3DS XL. I guess you could say I had an extra large one, and it was just not only was it just too uncomfortable to hold, just for being so big and heavy, but also the fact that you had to hold it completely still in front of your face while playing just made it. I had to buy prongs for it just to relieve the pain, especially when playing Game Boy games when you had to be able to reach over to A and B, and you couldn't map it to Y, and you had to use the D-pad sometimes, and it just killed my hands.
Is this still a penis euphemism?
No, this is the 3DS XL. But so I decided to downgrade to a.
So yes.
I decided to downgrade to a normal size one when I went for a new Nintendo 3DS.
They call that getting a bris.
Yeah, and you know what? I think like size doesn't matter at the end of the day. The problem was simply that you had to hold it right in front of your face to see the 3D, and you wouldn't. I'm just saying, like the super stable 3D feature that they advertise. It fucking works, and it's amazing, and it's changed the whole way I play the game. I could just relax, hold it, and just enjoy playing the game now, and just get
See, that's
immersed
why
in
you
it.
want to hire a quality moil.
Moil. What's a moil?
A moil is a rabbi that specializes in circumcision.
Oh, I see. Yeah, it doesn't really work anymore because I've said the word 3DS a few times and it doesn't sound. It doesn't. Anyway.
Oh, I was still laughing along.
Oh yeah. No.
But anyway, the point is, and only now do I realise just how awkward it was to hold the 3DS and have the 3D turned on and have to hold it completely parallel to your face as if you had Parry the parallel bird guiding you. It's just I can just casually play it now, relax, lean back in my chair.
So that actually, have you tried like the aiming of arrows and like Ocarina of Time 3D?
It's perfect. It does it like barely ever glitches up. It's just fine as long as the camera can see both of your eyes. It's fine. And even like with the lights off, and even if you're a bit far away, it is just so much better and so much more comfortable to handle.
How about the C-nub?
C-nub. Well, I haven't got any games that
The clitoris stick, as I call it.
Yes.
I haven't got any games that utilize that. It doesn't move or click or respond to your thumb press at all. So I guess it is just like one of the things they have on a laptop. All I can do with it is navigate the 3DS menu. And it would seem to be that I can't go diagonal with it. It seems to be basically a D-pad for the camera, but only four directions. Yeah.
That's straight. Well, looking at the video of Majora Mask 3D, I'm thinking maybe that's just how the menu uses it.
It's probably
because
just the menu, but
it seems like a very fluid motion looking at those videos.
yeah. God only knows how well. People who have games that support the Circle Pad Pro know how it works, and God. But yeah, I'm just gushing over the 3DS. I'm glad I imported it, although I'm a bit annoyed that the day it arrived in the post, I got the release date, which was 1 month away. But at least I can
It's
show
coming out on Copcock Day.
Yeah,
That's right.
I can still show it off to people. Go, look at this. I've got this imported bit of kit, and it works just fine as well because the region locking decided that Australia and the UK are the same region for some reason.
See, that exactly what you went through is why I have a Japanese Game Boy Advance to this day. Back when they didn't do region locking on handhelds. And I had like the Super Mario Advance, Super Mario Brothers 2 in Japanese, along with F-Zero Advance in Japanese.
In Japanese, yeah.
Yeah. And then it came out like a fucking month later.
That's frustrating, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, anyway, as I was saying before, I was so rudely interrupted.
Sorry.
I definitely am gonna get this. Like I said, it's a little annoying. This couldn't be the 3DS, the original version, but better 3D, improved Wi-Fi. That's internet connection, which is just terrible on the current 3DS.
Yeah, everything is so much faster and much more usable.
Have you tried? Well, I guess it's really only going to be as strong as both players, but you know, I'm guessing that when they say a better Wi-Fi signal or a better, it's really talking about the reception capabilities and transmission of the device itself, not necessarily Nintendo's servers.
Yeah.
So I'm still going to wager that playing Smash 3DS online is impossible.
Well, yeah, but it's impossible on Wii U as well, which has always been faster than the 3DS.
Yeah. So it's really more for like transferring your system data.
For data, for browsing online and stuff. I'd say, I haven't really had much time to compare, but I would imagine it's now the same. Using Miiverse or eShop is now about the same as it would be on the Wii U, which is an improvement.
Does it have a better browser?
I don't know. I'm not really that familiar with it.
Because I know they standardized on Opera a while back, and Opera is pretty much the best browser among the three consoles. I mean, it's way better than Xbox's bastardized Internet Explorer or Sony's proprietary thing, but I mean the Wii U browser is by all accounts the best one, but the version of Opera on the 3DS always to me left something to be desired. It was like it never quite had the specs to be able to render, complex web pages like Google Drive. So I'm curious if you can get into those things.
I've just booted up, and it says, which search engine would you like to use, Google or Yahoo? Doesn't say anything yet about the browser. Just says enjoy using the browser. No idea.
Yeah. Okay. Well, remains to be seen.
Yeah.
Anyway, Chad, are you gonna get it?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm probably gonna get it on Copcock Day.
Copcock Day, yeah, February 13th. It's a Copcock miracle.
Yeah. Well, I'm getting Majora. I'm super excited about that, and I want to play it on the new 3DS. So
yeah. It's like everyone kind of hated the 3D on the original 3DS, and I defended it. And even I'm saying that this is so much better. It's a completely different experience, and just playing the game, the way you feel when you play the game is just so different. You're not thinking, I gotta hold it still. You're just completely immersed in the game and just relaxing.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think it'll make me feel like a natural woman.
All right. So, speaking of new 3DS, you know who would have loved the new 3DS to be the 3DS the whole time?
Oh, gee, I have a guess.
Gunpei Yokoi.
Masahiro Sakurai. No, they already had the Neo Geo Pocket Color. He was all set.
Oh, right, fair enough.
Yeah. No, Sakurai, who had to...
Maybe if he had better 3D, he would have seen that car coming.
Oh, Jesus.
No.
Sakurai, I'm sure, is so pissed off at the fact that he had to basically nerf the Wii U Super Smash Brothers to accommodate the lesser specs of the original 3DS.
Yep.
So...
That's Nintendo for you, right?
Yeah. So let's talk Smash at long last.
Yes.
At long last, the moment of release is upon us.
Let's go.
So, Joe, you sort of gave a little a preview of your at least first initial impressions, where you said a few episodes ago that you encountered these giant clickable buttons on the gamepad.
Yeah.
Tried to click them,
and
nothing happened.
That is just taking the piss. I think that is.
Yeah.
As a gamer, I felt like I was being patronized and trolled. Like, haha, you thought you could press it, but you can't. And
Yeah.
I think it's absolutely terrible design. My biggest complaint about this game, which I've said on the forum because I couldn't keep it in forever, is simply that there is so much reused graphics from the GameCube and the Wii. It's disgusting. They should have done something to these graphics. Increase the polygon count, up-res the textures a bit, tidied them up a bit, not fucking farted out the same content that's 12 years old. It looks.
Can you give an example of that? Because I mean, I know that the N64 stages, like Jungle Japes, is obviously.
Jungle Hijinks.
Jungle Hijinks. Sorry,
One-ette.
Good Lord, Chad, you're gonna get crucified in the YouTube comments.
Yeah.
Well, One-ette.
Good thing we don't read them.
One-ette, the town from Earthbound, is just looks really, really terrible and old.
Are there some people that pronounce that One-ette?
Well, I do because all of the towns are named after numbers in the game.
Well, yeah, Forside and I mean,
so I just assumed it's One-ette. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It could be One-it. I don't know. We'll have to ask
who knows?
Shigesato Itoi for the official answer. I just think we were spoiled with Mario Kart 8 and its incredible, remastering of all the old tracks. But the fact that they've done absolutely nothing to bring these graphics to a modern standard, and that this content takes up half the game, it's not unlockable. It's there from the start. This is presented as the content you have paid for. Really, really pisses me off. This goes beyond packing peanuts, because this is like if packing peanuts were on the box. This is an old analogy from several episodes ago.
No, but I think it's apt.
They could have done something.
It's a selling point at this stage.
The minimal of effort could have been put in to tidy it up.
Yeah.
And there's no, but this is what it looked like in the old days. It's retro. That is a terrible excuse because there's so much of it being used as filler in this game. It's not like a super secret unlockable like the Nintendo 64 stages in Melee which were, oh wow, look at this old game graphics. It's not even presented as anything outdated. It's just given to you.
And even then, we got Poke Floats.
Yeah.
I like the Poke Float stage.
Yeah, I did too. As much as we kind of hated Pokemon back then, illogically, I liked Poke Floats.
Yeah. No, I didn't hate. I never hated Pokemon. It was more in jest than anything.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, before we really get into this, though, can I just point out that I know this game is really popular on the internet, so I realize that our opinions may be a little contrary to the common consensus. We're not saying you're wrong if you like the game.
No,
I am.
Okay, well,
no, I'm not.
We're just weird. We're weird people. I'm the weirdest in that I usually hate most things that are popular. Chad, you have You're a little bit more open-minded than I usually am.
Right.
But, I mean, Chad, we were just talking about this the other night. We dislike Spaceballs, which is one of the most beloved comedies from the 80s.
Yeah, well, and to go back to that conversation that was off the air, but, again, this is just how we talk.
Yeah.
We realize that both of us agree that Mel Brooks is largely buoyed by Gene Wilder, and that's, the only reason he's good. It's Gene Wilder and, was Richard Pryor ever in a Mel Brooks movie? Because I know he was originally going to be in Blazing Saddles, but then he was. Anyway,
I know Richard Pryor's made some good movies with Gene Wilder, but
I'll tell you this, man. That one, Hear No Evil, See No Evil, is fucking abysmal. It's on Netflix right now. It was Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor. I gotta see this. I made it 15 minutes. It's bad,
and that's why he set himself on fire with that crack pipe, right?
Yeah. So anyway, it's I much like Mel Brooks, I think that Smash Brothers gets a free pass.
It does.
I do too. Yeah.
The problem with the Smash Brothers game is simply that it's a very enjoyable game. You can enjoy it with the right people, which is people who've already been playing Smash Brothers for years. If you're a newcomer and your friends are newcomers, you're fucked. There is no way to enjoy it unless you're already a Smash Brothers fan. And that
was the chief criticism that we had about the 3DS version. Because remember, I had that whole anecdote about how I handed it to Janelle and watched what she did, and she had no fucking clue what to do.
And that is not how you sell a video game or create, and
certainly not.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
Now, I say this as somebody who played the hell out of Melee. Just loved Melee.
Yeah.
Loved every last drop of Melee. And I thought Brawl was an interesting, ambitious, just a fascinating, if not a misfire, but it was at least a noble misfire. There's a lot of good things I love how ambitious Brawl was.
To me, the most interesting thing about Brawl, and the thing that I still remember to this day, was the much hated Subspace Emissary.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that. I think that we needed something just like either Adventure Mode or Subspace Emissary, something for player one to do to gradually learn how to play the game and become a regular player. That's all that this game needed.
It needed, like, even if not Subspace Emissary, you needed to be able to start the game and not be faced with 20 different menus and submenus, but there should have been some kind of big button that said new to Smash or Smash Expert. And if you said new to Smash, it would guide you through a tutorial of how to play. It would give you a little taste of like every play mode and walk you through all that the game has to offer in some sort of like, it would hold your hand a little bit through this labyrinthine menu structure until you could say, okay, I got you, Smash Brothers. I understand what this game has to offer. Let me explore further.
Well, what they really should have offered was, okay, new to Smash, have played past Smash Brothers and like Smash, or Scarf Boy. because really Smash Expert implies something on a whole nother tier. And I feel like that's what this game was kind of catered to this time around.
Well, it was definitely the first Smash that was developed with those people in mind.
When I've tried to talk about Smash's shortcomings with proper Smash Brothers fans, they say, why don't you like it, Joe? And I say, well, the graphics aren't good enough, it's not accessible to modern players, all the criticisms we've already brought up. And they go, but Joe, it's so balanced. Sheik doesn't suck anymore. All the characters are of the same tier. Surely that makes this the best game ever. It's like you're missing the point here.
Yeah. This is not a game to be played, or I guess perhaps it is, in 2-minute bursts. And I guess, is that really all this game has to offer?
Yeah, okay. That's exactly my point, Chad. That's exactly my point. Brawl was an interesting misfire, but damn, did I not find things to do in it. This game is Brawl with all of the really interesting bits removed, and it feels like a collection of mini games.
Yeah,
it feels like it's Brawl with all the ambition stripped down, and it's catered to the extreme hardcore Smash contingent, rather than people who love Smash Brothers but couldn't give a shit about what all the various terms, like what, wave dashing, or is that Mario Kart?
No, that's wave dashing. That was
snaking is the Mario Kart version of wave dashing.
Wave dashing, and I don't care about any of that. I just like playing the game. The
problem is it's all about the multiplayer now. The single player mode is to train you when your friends are gone, so you can be better at beating them when they're back and play multiplayer. Then when they're gone, you go back on single player on your own to train.
But the single player in Melee was really fun.
Exactly,
I had so much fun with
that.
Why
couldn't they just do that again? Is why.
And here's another frustrating thing, is that they have introduced an opportunity for single player to be fun in Amiibo.
Yes.
But but there are so many like 2-player modes that you can't play with your Amiibo, despite the fact that you're training the fucking thing.
Exactly, yeah.
You can't
if you could train Amiibo to be your partner for those events, that would make sense to me.
Yeah, it's like I think that like in the DK Vine staff Skype chat, the inner circle, as it were, basically the people who really enjoy what the game has to offer are Joe and Jeff Onan. And the big difference is
I only
that
enjoy it as of the past 2 weeks, and I'll explain that later.
But well, correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like the two of you are really enjoying the game because you have people that you can play the game with in person.
Absolutely. That's the sole reason why this game is fun to me. Because I have people to play it with.
Even though we live in the online era.
Yeah, right. And then you can't even fucking play it online.
It's fucking unplayable. And I'm so, like, I remember how bad the Wii online was with Brawl.
What? Wait, we had online?
Yeah, Brawl was online.
No, I was making a joke. Because it was so terrible, it never worked.
Exactly. And this has, like, slightly less lag than Brawl, but slightly less lag is still unplayable when you're talking about this game. And, we discussed this when we were talking about the 3DS one, but Mario Kart to its credit, got it right.
Yes.
But that could be because of the design of a racing game. Perhaps in Mario Kart, because all you're doing is making adjustments to a forward motion, maybe it only had to ping the server every 20 milliseconds instead of every 5 milliseconds. Obviously, Nintendo's online infrastructure is not up to the challenge of supporting online Smash. And here's the fucking crazy part. I would pay money a la Xbox Gold if it meant that I could play Smash Brothers online, because I know there's something fun in there, but I can't get to it because I don't have anyone to play it with in real life.
I mean,
It is
it
so
works
frustrating.
occasionally. I don't want to sell it short that it never works, because it does work sometimes.
No, but it never... You can move around, but there's always a little input lag to the point where, like, you press jump and it doesn't immediately jump. So you press jump again, and what happens is the game registered your jump. So while you're pressing jump again, you're now double jumping. It's just enough of a lag to basically take the control out of your hands. And in a game like Smash Brothers, you need to be completely in control.
Yeah,
it's precision gaming. Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's like it's really all or nothing. It's like either there's going to be totally negligible input lag, or you might as well not have an online mode.
Yeah, it's frankly ridiculous how exclusive this game is, and how I don't know. That's all there is to say, really. There's just no game should be like that. No game should be like, you must be with the right gang of people who already know how to play the game. It's just
and are in person.
And in person, exactly, yes. And you've all got suitable controllers as well.
Yeah.
And that's it, because if you're not playing against somebody with a comparable skill level, you're fucked. And I mean, I realize that's fighting games in general, but I thought Smash Brothers was always the alternative to that.
I can't play this game with Janelle. And she's tried, and she's new to Smash. She never played Brawl, she never played Melee or 64, and that's fine, but the game, it's crazy because Nintendo is the company that rubber bands the fuck out of Mario Kart.
And we, to be fair, we criticized that.
Right.
We were like, we should be like Diddy Kong Racing, where it's all about skill. La 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 la.
Right. But even Diddy Kong Racing, someone can still play alongside a very good Diddy Kong Racing player and have fun with it. But in Smash Brothers, if you're a novice and there's someone who has gone through every iteration of the game and understands it deeply, you're not going to have fun playing with them.
You're just going to get pummeled. You're going to be able to barely move, like any other fighting game.
Well, yeah, and that's because in a fighting game, if you're not holding your own, you're, like you said, you're getting pummeled and you have no control over what's happening. Whereas in a racing game, you're always moving forward and you're always relatively in control of your cart. So even if you're losing, you're still enjoying the experience.
You're still riding around on a motorized vehicle.
Yes.
And what's interesting about this is that my roommates, I discussed this problem with them and said how it's inaccessible to new players, and they said it's not quite complex enough for competitive players. It's kind of a middle ground that doesn't appeal to anyone. And they said this is pretty much accessible compared to some other fighting games that they play, which are even worse at this and are completely exclusive as to how to play them. So, it's
how to play.
It's a game that's tried to please everyone and has pleased no one, effectively.
Well, it's pleased quite a few people, because this game has gotten high scores.
What's it at? Like fucking 97% on Metacritic? It's
something
obscene.
Absurd.
Yeah.
And I mean, you look at Tropical Freeze's scores, and you're just like, what is wrong with this universe I'm living in?
It's this is the series, and we keep going back to it. Well, much like Mario Kart, it's coasting on name recognition. Everyone just gives it a fucking pass.
I feel like this is the first Smash Brothers that coast. I feel like this is the Double Dash, the Mario Party 3, the filling your own blanks here of.
Well, there are cowboy hats in this game.
That was 2. That was 2, my friend. That was 2.
2 was cowboy hats? I thought 3 was the cowboy hat one.
I would kind of say 5.
3 would have been better with the hat.
I would say 5 was the first really bad Mario Party. 3 and 4 are all right.
5 was terrible.
Yeah.
But my point is, this is the game where the forward momentum of the series has stopped, and it's we've made Smash Brothers because it's time to make Smash Brothers. Not out of any artistic desire, not out of any, hey, with this new system, we can really improve the experience and make the definitive Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
This is the first Smash Brothers where it's less than what came before.
From the day the first Smash Brothers trailer came out, no part of
Yeah.
the preview processes maybe go, oh, I can't wait for this game because this is going to be in it. New feature is going to be in it. They're going to do something new with it. It's just every time I've looked at it and gone, oh, it's Smash Brothers again.
They've taken away any interesting features, and they've added things like Smash Run in 3DS, and I don't even remember what it was in the Wii U.
The
because
Wii
I
U
can't
one is
play
the
it.
most confusing, complicated board game ever, and it's stupid. Because
I'll tell
board
you
games
this,
are meant to be nice and easy. Sorry, Chad.
Yeah.
Nice and easy
No,
to
it's okay.
follow for everyone, and no one has any idea what the fuck is going on in that thing.
Before we get into Smash Tour, I think that's what that's called, right?
I don't know because it's terrible.
God knows, whatever it is.
It's a board game. Before we
Smashopoly.
get into, you talked Smashopoly. You talked about how there are these features, none of which appealed to you. To me, I was actually really interested and excited about the Angry Birds clone. They basically, it's home run contest combined with Angry Birds.
See, I miss real home run contests. I don't need.
Well,
And I
it's
miss
still
real
there.
break the targets as well, which
Yeah,
used your
I miss real
character's
break the
specific
targets.
moves to.
But here's the thing, like the Angry Birds clone, you don't have the same control that you have in Angry Birds. You can't adjust your angle. You can either hit the bomb forward, or you can turn around and hit it against the wall and hope for the best. You have no control.
Yeah.
It's everything in this game is like hope for the best.
It's Russian roulette.
Yeah.
Russian roulette would be a much more interesting game, to be honest.
Mario Russian roulette.
Well, I'm sure we get a third Donkey Kong character in that at least.
Christopher Walken
What?
from off of the Deer Hunter.
Right. No, I got it now. It took me a second. I was like, Christopher Walken's never been in a Donkey Kong game. You silly Chad.
Yeah. You're obviously forgetting the DKU classic Click starring Adam Sandler.
Although I think he would make an excellent Blunder Bear if in that Donkey Kong movie Mamichi was talking about.
I can't believe I told you about the Lost World. While his bow tie spins.
I was wondering if anyone would give a shit if I talked about the GameCube controller adapter.
Do you have one?
Yes.
Who did you have to kill to get
Well,
one?
I just pre-ordered Smash and pre-ordered the one that came with the adapter, and it arrived.
I couldn't even pre-order that one. Like it was already
Wow.
booked.
Yeah, I was gonna say those are the good old days of 2 weeks ago where scalpers didn't buy up every pre-order that Nintendo put out.
Well, exactly. I thought this is before I got back to uni, and my room neighbours here wanted to play with me. My mates at back home fucking didn't. We tried to have a session once when Matt and Jim were in town, right? And they were just fiddling through the menus and turning each other's options off and on and off again, to the extent that their controllers had to be confiscated. So we had to select characters for them to play, and then they just didn't bother playing. So not even bloody Matt and Jim of DK Vine fame would bother playing this game with me. So yeah, I just sat there looking at this. No, I plugged in the adapter and thought, oh, let's give this a try. I plugged in my nice big white chunky GameCube controller, my favourite one, and it's a third-party one, so it doesn't work. And I yelled a very loud expletive and screamed, "Are you kidding me?" 'Cause,
Wow. How does it know? It's the
Exactly,
same
how
control
the hell
port,
does it
right?
know? I had some old chewed up GameCube controllers, the ones where the analog stick has come off at the top. For some reason they're all like that. And so I thought, you know what, fuck this. And I was moaning about it to Jeff Onan of DK Fine fame. He said, oh my god, you've got an adapter? Those are worth loads. And I thought, wait, really? And then I looked around and realised that I could make a bit of money off of this thing that I bought.
Yeah.
And I thought, and I was gonna, but I thought, I can't be bothered to set up an eBay account. Plus, let's try and actually use it. So I managed to buy a decent GameCube controller for £10, which is a bargain. Usually they're a lot more expensive. I managed to find a cheap one. I thought, I'll try this with the game, give it a try, just to say that I've used this product and tested it to see if it has any worth.
Sure.
And it turns out that it is actually pretty good for Smash Brothers. It's amazing. It's
better or on par with the Wii U Pro controller?
better simply because the C stick is so tiny and moves around so fast that you can do smash attacks with it really quickly. And now I understand why they made this thing just for Smash, not for all games. And suddenly I feel less resentful that they're trying to replace the Pro controller with a 12-year-old wired controller. It's not about that at all. It's just about Smash Brothers and Smash moves and the C-Stick. And basically, just like everything else in Smash Brothers, it's all about the competitive players.
Yeah, pretty much. This is the game for the Scarf Boys.
Yes, they could have maybe explained what they were doing a bit better, because it looked like they were trying to, phase out Pro controllers and step back in time for fucking the days of wires.
Now, to be fair, the GameCube controller is amazing.
It is amazing.
And it's probably the best controller Nintendo's ever done. And I say that as somebody who's not really a fan of much of the GameCube.
I'd say the Pro is probably better.
I'd say the Pro is more versatile, but I think that for the games that were on the GameCube, the GameCube controller was superb.
Oh yeah, the GameCube controller was good.
It's so comfortable.
Yeah, GameCube controller is good
So
for GameCube
comfortable.
games. Pro controller is good for all games. Maybe. How about that? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an
Okay,
evergreen
fair enough.
controller, and it's deliberately, aping what the what Sony and Microsoft are doing these days, just all around.
Which were deliberately aping what the Super Nintendo did, and then they just added analog sticks to it.
Yeah, it's just a game of they're just stealing from back and forth from each other, aren't they?
Right.
Yeah. But yeah. I'm kind of glad I've got the adapter. Well, it could be worth quite. I can frame it on my wall and proudly display it to people. I have a GameCube controller adapter. But also,
Can we talk about what a colossal fuck up it is that every store has piles of the GameCube controllers for Smash,
Yes.
but none of the adapters?
That is absolute-
What is Nintendo thinking?
absolute bullshit. Full-priced GameCube controllers for £40 over here. Not a Pro controller in sight, and not an adapter in sight.
Jesus. And you can only use the GameCube controllers for Smash
For
Brothers.
one game, Smash Brothers, yes.
Yeah. It is a Smash Brothers accessory that they're selling.
It's pathetic and ridiculous, and why has nobody said, this is stupid, please let's stop doing this and do something that makes sense?
Right. Why don't we put them in a landfill in Arizona to be excavated in 30 years?
Yeah.
Well, no, I'm just saying, how did Nintendo not meet how did they not have an equal amount of adapters with the controller? It doesn't make sense to me that...
Well, because it's 4 controllers to 1 adapter, but even then, they really could have just done it 1-to-1, to be honest.
Well, no, Joe, that never occurred to me, but I'm willing to wager that is the logic that Nintendo used. It has, for every one of these adapters we're going to sell 4 GameCube controllers, so that's what we'll put on the market.
Yeah. But it's just...
I bet you're right. I can't believe that didn't crystallize until you just said it, but I bet you're right. Which is so fucking boneheaded on Nintendo's part.
It is, yeah, and I think I'd just like to summarize my opinion of Smash Bros. For Wii U now is I play it exclusively with a GameCube controller, which is comfortable and it works. And I currently live in what was once a university dorm, is now a training facility for Smash Brothers Super Soldiers. Because once we've stopped playing it together in one room, we go back to our respective rooms and play it alone to train and get better.
You got to watch out for that Null Roar amiibo.
Damn it, I was going to make a no roar joke.
Null Roar.
I'm having a lot of fun with the game, all of its features, and it's all worked out in this case. But it shouldn't have to be like this. This shouldn't. I've lucked out to have this situation, and I shouldn't have to be lucky to get this situation, which I'm not even going to be in after I graduate. I might not even touch Smash Brothers again once I'm back home.
Instead of settle it and smash, it shouldn't be like this. Should be the motto. For this.
Do you have that same campaign in England? Settle it and smash as the whole advertising campaign for this game?
No, I don't think so. But I haven't really paid attention to the advertising.
That's the big one here. Is do you have a minor disagreement with a stranger on the bus? Settle it and smash.
Right, yeah. But it's like I said last week, Mario Kart, you have some drunken friends around, you put a sticker controller in their hand, they go, how do I go? You say, waggle the stick and hold down A and don't drive into a wall. Everyone knows how to play Mario Kart. Great fun.
Right.
Anyone could play it. It's going to last for years and years and years. This game is just only works in a specific situation.
Right.
Yeah, honestly, this game has boosted my opinion of Mario Kart 8. I now do that far more fondly than I do Smash Brothers.
That is what this should have been, isn't it?
Yes. Well, at least and I mean, I really hate that for me it keeps coming back to online because as Hyle said, Melee was so enjoyable without online.
Yeah.
But the way that they have designed this game around the multiplayer experience begs for online for those of us that don't have a whole cabal of Smash experts.
They even ruined classic mode, like single player.
Yeah.
They completely.
And what is this board of like little clusters of figurines?
It accomplishes nothing.
And
it just slows down.
All of a sudden, a bunch of them fly off the board after a match, but I wasn't even anywhere close to them. What's going on?
Okay, and why is it every match in Classic is now like 5, 6, 7 fighters, 8 fighters?
God, yeah. I hate the 8-player. I hate what that has done to this game because it's chaos.
8-player is trash.
Yeah,
it is absolute filth.
There's no way to follow what's going on until you manage to like stay out of the fray until 4 players are defeated, and then you can play Smash Brothers again.
I kind of find that fun, actually. I think that just the madness of it is hilarious.
I don't know. For me, it's like I can really only enjoy a game, especially a game like this, so much as I feel like I am in control. And not only does that extend to not being in control of the online, with the lag situation, but in 8-player Smash, there's no fucking way to tell what's happening because it's just chaos. Basically,
if I wanted the experience of 8-player Smash, I would go stand in rush hour traffic. That's it. That's all it is.
It feels to me like the reason I didn't like Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat is and even to an extent Killer Instinct is because to me, those games, unless you are deeply, intimately familiar with the controls, they're button mashers. But in 8-player Smash, that's what I find myself doing.
Yeah, because you don't know you don't know what's going on in item lands. You don't know who grabs it. You don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
It's just a bunch of animation, and it's ugly. It's not intuitive. It doesn't have that graceful feel of Smash Brothers.
But Joe, you like it though. So what are you seeing that we are not?
Well, just that I've got friends to play it with. That's all. I was feeling exactly the same way as you guys a couple of weeks ago over Christmas when my game was gathering dust, and I was just thinking, for fuck's sake, I wish I could play this, but I can't. I fucking hate this game. And now I'm thinking I like this game, but again, because of the very specific situation I'm in for it to work. And it's just annoying. It's like, see, the way a Nintendo game should be, right, is like, it should be inviting. It should be basically everyone should be encouraged to come and join in. And I'm to be honest, I'm gonna publicly shame Jeff here because he said to me, and I quote, "If you and your friends don't enjoy it, then it's not a game for you, and you should stop playing it." And that's not what. With no offense to Jeff, but that's not how you should just talk about any Nintendo game.
We're gonna have Jeff on next week, so you're throwing the gauntlet down. Jeff, come on the show, explain yourself.
He can have a retort next week for me, but when he said that to me, I just thought, well, fuck off then. This is a video game. It's not a service. You're not doing me an honour.
There's a row growing in the inner circle.
The great schism begins.
Fuck off then to Jeff, saying fuck off then to Smash Brothers, if that's the message the game is trying to convey. Because, like, let's say Nintendo games were bars, right?
Yep.
You go into Mario Kart and the barman's like, "Hey, how's it going, mate? How would you like? What do you want to drink?" But you go into the Smash Brothers bar and there's a great big bouncer who goes, "Name, please. Have you got any ID? Right. Not sure we can let you."
Are you wearing a scarf?
Yeah, are you wearing a scarf?
Yeah.
Yep. Do you know how to dance?
Joe, can I say, Joe, I love that your biggest frame of reference is always bars.
Bars and nightclubs and picking people up and relationships, I know. Broken hearts.
Yeah.
Anyway, what was I going to say? If it even gets extending back to say E3, like the Nintendo executives like Iwata come up, they're smiling. They speak English. They're not very good at they've got funny accents, but they're speaking English. They're speaking our language. Listen to where I'm going with this.
Jesus.
Listen to where I'm going with this. They're making
I don't know if I like where this is going.
To connect with us by speaking our language and smiling and bowing. And then Sakurai comes on. He's got this stone-faced glare and then starts talking 100 miles an hour in Japanese with a dub over him with absolutely no politeness or appreciation for the audience at all. And right back then, I just thought, oh, fuck this guy.
Okay, well, here's to Sakurai's defense.
He doesn't speak
I don't
English.
think he...
Yeah,
I don't think he ever wanted to make these two games.
Yeah,
And
let's talk about Sakurai, okay? Because this is to really understand Smash Brothers and why this game is the way it is, we've got to put Sakurai on the couch a bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
And look, everything we say about the man, look, all due respect, I respect that he breaks himself for his art.
Yeah.
I respect that he created the series to begin with, which produced, let's say, 2.5 very excellent games.
Right.
And so this critique of Sakurai is not an indictment of the man, because all due respect to him, but I think we've got to understand any art, you've got to understand the artist.
Fair enough.
And it's the same reason why George Lucas gets psychoanalyzed for the Star Wars prequels and the special editions.
Yes.
So Sakurai, if you're listening to this, if you got that Rosetta Stone for Christmas and understand English, this is not meant as anything nasty. Okay.
Yeah. Sakurai, let me just say, sumimasen.
Yeah, but do you see my point there is that it wasn't about, about whether or not they're speaking English. The point is that while usually Nintendo make an effort to appeal to us and make us want to play the thing, Sakurai's just kind of assuming you already want to play it if you're good enough to play it. If you're not, then you don't deserve to play it, as Jeff implied, basically. But he said that to me.
Well, as Chad said, I don't think this is a game Sakurai wanted to make.
No.
I feel like this is a game Sakurai was forced to make.
Well, and that's not even speculation. I mean, we do know for a fact that Iwata announced this game at E3 without even consulting Sakurai.
Right, and Iwata and Sakurai are like blood brothers, so I wonder if this has created a rift.
Oh yeah, aren't they? They're both like HAL Lab vets, right?
Yeah. They made the original Smash Brothers together.
Yeah.
That's right.
So,
Iwata had a big hand in making Earthbound as well.
Yeah, I think there was a thing where like Iwata said that he did some of the last minute QA on Melee, didn't he?
I don't know.
There was something I read recently that like
if it's not in scribes, I don't really know what's going on.
Well, yeah, we all know how Bumper the Badger got arrested, but we don't know how Smash Brothers was tested.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, the point is, yeah, they go back, and so you're speculating that perhaps this was the beginning of a rift between the two men.
Well, that's just me spitballing, but I don't really think so.
Okay.
But I think Sakurai's apathy clearly shows throughout this whole process. In that, but okay, the first 3 Smash Brothers were huge celebrations of Nintendo's history.
Yeah,
right.
It was Sakurai really reaching into every corner and just propping up. This game feels like, what is Sakurai like? He's going to put in a game because he has to make this game.
Mm-hmm. Well, okay, I would disagree with that to a point. I would go laziness over him catering to his own tastes.
Well, can it be both?
Yeah, perhaps, but like the Kid Icarus Uprising example, there were so many enemies and assets from Kid Icarus Uprising. I don't think necessarily because he developed that game. I think it's because they were right there in front of him because he developed that game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I also think, work with what you know. And I don't... and that wasn't the method behind the madness in the original Smash Brothers.
Agreed. I'm just saying I think it's more fatigue and fatigue-driven laziness than it was like malicious intent to only cater.
We're not saying Sakurai's lazy because he is one of the most noted workaholics in all of the Nintendo sphere.
That's why I'm saying fatigue. Like it was laziness brought on by extreme fatigue over having to do this.
I don't even think it's laziness; it's apathy brought on by fatigue.
Fair enough.
I mean, I know just minor variations in what we're saying,
but I think it's more appropriate. You're right.
Yeah, and I think that he did an interview too, and I don't know how this plays into it. Maybe this ties into Joe's "speak English, damn it" comment.
It wasn't about him speaking English. The point was that the others were making an effort to connect with their audience while he was just yammering on. He didn't give a shit who was listening.
I'm just ribbing you, Joe. I think that
for your pleasure.
Yeah. Well, we are still running that train. Even though I apparently climaxed a while ago, I'm still in there somehow. Sakurai did an interview around the time Smash came out, and he said that he thinks it's great that with Smash he wanted to make a game that celebrates Japanese characters, Japanese culture. And
Yeah.
I was just like, well, that's weird because Nintendo's a worldwide company, and I mean, clearly it shows in this game that, he definitely drew more from the Japan side of things, but you look at it and you're like, Diddy Kong really is the only Western developed character in this game, Western created character in this game.
Yeah. And I would take that statement by Sakurai, and I think it not only applies to characters and settings in the game, but some of the fundamental ways that you play the game. And
because in Japan, it's more, you can go over, the culture in Japan is less online, more go over to your friend and play. That's why the GameCube had a damn handle on it.
Yes, yes, exactly. And online gaming really became big, or online console gaming anyway, with Microsoft, an American company, supporting it on the Xbox. And they did it correctly, whereas Nintendo has never cared about that. And I'm going to say the only dot that I can connect is Nintendo doesn't care about it because the larger Japanese audience doesn't care about it.
I'm going to put a point on this because this is something I alluded to, I believe, last week, and I said we touch upon on the Smash episode about the kind of mentality under Iwata's Nintendo.
Right.
And I feel like this isn't something, I feel like before Iwata, Nintendo was really good about studying the broader market, the broader worldwide market, and really reaching out and, getting their tentacles into the rest of the world, the Americas, Europe, Australia.
And when you're talking about Japanese tentacles, you've got to be careful.
That's why I changed it from tendrils to tentacles because I had to set up that joke. But
Good
idea.
Because we're nothing if not racially sensitive here on the conversation. But
look, Hokusai was doing tentacle porn long before Nintendo was a company.
Anyway, this is a company that was founded on love hotels. Come on. I think that Iwata, and I think it's maybe something they don't even realize, but I think they're a lot more closed off than they used to be under the Iwata regime, and Sakurai being kind of the buddy of Iwata falls into this.
Yeah.
It's a reason why they didn't really give a shit about selling Rare once Iwata took over, because they didn't think they needed Rare. This is why they alienated their third parties.
And Ken Lobb was already gone. There was no one to defend Rare.
Ken Lobb was gone. Howard Lincoln was gone. The old administration, there was all this massive changeover about a year and a half before Rare was sold.
Right.
That's a topic for another day. But I feel like they had a definite go it alone mentality. Go it alone. We're Japanese mindset, we're catering to Japan.
Right.
And it's really why Nintendo has taken a hit in the last decade because they're not looking at the big picture anymore. They're looking just out at their back door.
And when they do get it right, it feels
accidental.
It feels accidental. Exactly.
And I feel like Smash Brothers for Wii U and 3DS is the culmination of that mentality, at least the distilled culmination, in that it's really apparent for the first time in this game.
Yeah.
In the software versus the hardware.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's why there was, I'm long past this, but I feel like that's why there is no third Donkey Kong character, no Donkey Kong really anything in the game. There was... It was all drawn from these anime characters and that were only really big in Japan. And
I do want to say that I was a big defender of this game in its pre-release state.
Yeah.
Yes. And I was a lot more harder on it than I should have been. I got swept up in the sports game of it versus actually just looking forward to a game.
and that's really what I was rejecting at that time was the horse race. Because
it's just like a game in itself, isn't it? It all feels irrelevant to the game that we're playing now.
Right. Well, and my thinking was,
but now that that's over, like I'm past it. That's why I don't even care about DLC, because I feel like that game's over in my head, and I got swept up in it, and that was my bad.
Right. But that's what my thinking was. Like I knew that if you got swept up in this, as many people did, that if you were disappointed in that horse race, it's going to color the way you view the game. And I thought my thinking was that let's let Sakurai color our experience based on the game itself. Let's not worry about this ancillary marketing behind the game. Let's judge the game on its own merits or the lack thereof.
But you know what I realized the other day? If K. Rool and Dixie were in this game, I would still hate it.
That's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This whole thing that we had to be in our bonnet about for all that time doesn't even matter in the end, does it?
No, it's the characters
and
are meaningless.
I'm not saying this game is not like the ideal game for somebody out there.
Yeah.
Maybe these scarf wearing denizens. Maybe Tom Baker. Maybe Tom Baker of Doctor Who fame really loves this game.
I'm sure he
But
does.
this is just not a game for me. And I don't know, and I don't think that's just me getting older. I don't think this is like that South Park episode, mentioning South Park again, where, you lose your enthusiasm for things as you get older.
It's a game for you if you see it purely as a multiplayer experience with a group of other people of the same enthusiasm and level of video game skill. Which
even the trophies suck in this game.
Which is incredibly specific, and as like I said, like I'm lucky to be in that situation right now, but it's not going to last. And then as soon as I've left this uni, I'm probably not going to play the game again.
Yeah, you're living the average Japanese gamer lifestyle right now.
Yeah,
and you're lucky for that.
Yeah, not even Matt and Jim wanted to play it with me.
Like, fuck, man. I know we didn't get into Smash Tour yet. I don't know if we have time for it, but
we have time for it. Go into Smash Tour.
Well, no. I was just gonna say that, like, I would love to try out Smash Tour or 2-player master orders if I could do them online or if I could do them with my fucking amiibo.
Yeah.
Like. None of this is any fun in single player.
Yeah, it's the same problem I'm having with Donkey Konga 2. To beat the game, I need a second player.
Mm-hmm.
And it's basically impossible without it.
The difference is, though, you're trying to 100% the game. What I'm describing is just fucking playing the basic modes.
True.
Yeah, and like even like I tried to play Smash Tour with Janelle. I thought, like, okay, it's as close to a party mode as this game has to offer. Surely a novice can enjoy it. Like there are these, like, after every turn in Smash Tour, all of a sudden, like,
there is a season turn.
Yes. For every you have, like, there are 4 little icons of things that you can apply toward the next move or the next match. And it starts a timer at like 5 seconds. So by the time you've read 1 or 2 of what does the Zinger do or what does Dixie do, it basically auto selects for you because you're out of time.
Yeah,
like
it's just a game that has no trust and no respect for its player, and you never feel like the game is for you. You feel like it's a service that you feel like you are doing the game a service, and you are. Oh, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Like
even this brand new mode that no Smash veterans have ever played is completely unplayable to anyone but an expert in that mode.
Yeah, exactly. The game is just welcome to Smash Brothers. If you may play this game if you are good enough at it. If not, we won't tolerate any riffraff. That's the message this game has sent out from the very beginning.
And it's a catch-22. You can't get good at the game unless you already know how. Yeah. Unless you are already good at it.
Exactly.
And the people who have gotten good at it and have developed an understanding at it are people who have spent far more time than I'm willing to spend, like dozens of hours figuring out the intricacies of these various modes, and that's. To me, that's not only not how I want to play Smash Brothers or any game in general. If the learning curve is upwards of 15 hours, I don't want to play it. I've quit games that have a learning curve of 6 hours. Like an RPG that takes about 5 hours to really understand is about as much as I'm willing to give a game. And of course, and that's not to say that you can develop depth of skill over the course of a game, but at least getting your foot in the door, taking much longer than you actually want to spend on it. It's just not worth it.
And compare that to the original Smash Brothers or even Melee, where it was just so easy to pick up, and like within 15 minutes you're playing the game and you're feel like you're confident at it.
Yeah.
It's just amazing how insular it is, and I mean, and okay, can we talk about the stages real quick?
Real quick, we got to leave
yeah.
something for Jeff to talk about.
Well, Jeff's gonna basically try to defend this game, and we're gonna just tear him a new one. Even the stages are basically unplayable unless you go to the the Omega mode. Because they're all gimmick based. Like, you can't even stand still in this game without something crumbling on you or something appearing to attack you.
I feel really dirty going to Omega mode, but you're right. That really is the only way to render a lot of these stages playable.
I mean, I guess I like the new Donkey Kong stage. I don't really have fun with it.
It's just annoying.
It's familiar.
The person you're trying to attack barrel cannons over to the background, so you follow them, and then they come back over, and you just chase them round and round.
And then there's Ridley and the Yellow Devil, and I don't know anyone who enjoys
so
those.
much room and just does damage, and it's just so annoying.
Yeah.
Like, when you're playing a fighting game, why do you want to suddenly fight this other thing instead of the objective you set out to do, which was fight your friend?
Yes.
Yeah. And there are, like in the Pikmin stage, there are these the crabs from Pikmin will come out of nowhere and just plow through the stage, and before you have a chance to react, because in that stage, the way the visuals work is that there are paths that aren't the paths that you can jump on that sort of lead into the background, but it's very difficult to tell when your eye is focused on the right half of the screen and something is happening on the left half. You're not really staring directly at it because you're focused on what you're doing on the right half, but then that monster comes in from the left, and before you even realize what's happening, you're gone. It's
Yeah, it's and I feel like Sakurai came up with the Omega mode for the tournament players, the Final Destination Fox.
Right.
I
whatever.
just feel the new
and,
stages are boring as well. None of them make you go, "Ooh, wow!" It's like what games were released in the last 5 years? Let's just copy and paste them into the backgrounds and make them stages.
There's that. Like there's less like that thrill of nostalgia and more like, oh yeah, that's something I recognize from a year ago.
Exactly.
But there's also like, I feel like Sakurai just got in love with how complex can we make these stages. Oh, we have Omega mode, it doesn't matter. And then it's like, okay, so either I can play a really boring flat stage or I can play an unplayable stage.
Oh yeah, no, I think that's a good point. Yeah, Omega mode could have, in his mind, given him license to go balls to the wall with the gimmicks.
Yeah. But then you look at stages from the Melee where you have Hyrule Temple or the Donkey Kong stages where they're fun to play and they're not just vanilla. They're varied and engaging.
Yeah.
I don't know. This game is just. It saddens me because I was a huge Smash Brothers fan, but I wasn't like a tournament player. I wasn't that skilled, but I loved the game series. I loved looking forward to it, and now I know I'm kind of done. Like, I've hit the point where Mario Kart was. I'm looking forward to Mario Kart 9 now more than I am Smash 5.
9, dude. I'm looking forward to the next DLC pack. I mean, Mario Kart is a game that Mario Kart 8 is a game that keeps on giving, and it's fun to play online.
Yes.
It's fucking fun to play online.
and you know what?
I went into a Seinfeld.
Okay, you're in a car, you're with coffee. It's dangerous to be shouting that loud.
Yeah.
Here's the thing too, the mentality too. Like, they announced Mario Kart DLC, and they're giving you basically a whole new Mario Kart game with these tracks.
Right. Right.
They announced Smash Brothers DLC. It's Mewtwo, and it's just so hard to make Smash characters. It's a burden. All right, don't ask for any more. It's like there's this mentality where, and I think that ties into Sakurai's burnout. But it's just like, this is a burden. How dare you criticize it? This is what you're gonna get. Shut up.
Well, it's like, if it. I can understand the difficulty in balancing when you add even one new character, because now you have to make sure not only does it interact with all the other characters correctly, but it interacts with every game
okay,
mode. But hang on.
Okay. All right.
If that is truly an insurmountable obstacle to releasing character DLC, then don't release character DLC, release stages. Release new gameplay modes. Release a better online infrastructure.
Yeah.
Like there are ways to improve the game that are not character based. You know, that
Right.
to me, that is a flimsy excuse. Mario Kart released new stages. Sure, they also released characters alongside because they're basically skins, but they focused on broadening the appeal of that game through stages. Why can't Smash Brothers do the same thing that wouldn't result in such a massive overhead that Sakurai claims there is?
Because let's be honest, the hardcore fan base of Smash don't care about stages.
Yeah.
They would fight against an empty black screen if they could.
Yeah.
It's true, right?
They would love the original Smash Brothers 64, which was fighting Polygon Team the game.
Absolutely. It's true.
The point I wanted to make about stages earlier was that I just feel it should be like a creative and enchanting look into each series' world, just like how Smash has its own design for all of the characters. It should have its own take on the Mushroom Kingdom, on the Congo Jungle, and that's kind of how
that's what Melee.
That's what Melee did exactly.
Had.
You know, Melee depicted Donkey Kong's jungles having the big rapids, and one of my favourite stages of all time is Fourside. I'd never even played Earthbound at the time, but the music and the way it was laid out with a UFO and all this crazy stuff going on, it's so enchanting and so amazing to just experience.
That was the one at night, right?
At night, yeah. And the music as well.
I thought like Onet or Onet was very enchanting in its own right. It was like this just suburbia slice of Americana in Smash Brothers. It was just so fun, like to have these Nintendo characters run through, you know.
And they ported it to this one with zero graphical upgrades.
So now it looks like a pile of shit.
Yeah. But that's something that started creeping in with Brawl too. Is they stopped updating graphics and they were just like, oh, let's have this retro
but they
stage
at least
that
had
looks
all the
like
Melee stages annexed off in their own folder.
Yeah,
but I'm talking about things like, you know, like the DK arcade stage, or you know, it's just like
okay, but that's part of the aesthetic. I mean, you're not going to gussy up DK arcade. I can understand that, but like, you know, when they have the Smash 64 stages that are identically ported with not even a texture upgrade, that's where it gets lazy.
Or the trophies in this game where it's just art from the game.
Another point is goes in addition to the atmosphere as well as the music as well. You know how. Okay, granted. To be fair, now I know video game technology's gotten better now, so the games themselves can depict their own world and they can do good music in their own right. And when Melee came around, like music from Pokemon or Earthbound would have just been chip tunes or bad synthesizers. But even so, they can do much better arrangements of the songs from the series than just either copy and pasting the songs or just doing slightly better instrumentation. You know, like the Fountain of Dreams, whatever it is in Melee. Isn't that just incredible? That song.
Oh yeah. Oh, I have such fond memories of that stage because of the visuals, much less the music of that shimmering floor.
Yeah, and again,
it was beautiful.
And once again, Fourside as well. That they just took what was just a plain kind of melody and made it this really kind of spacey, dreamlike fantasy song. They can just, I mean, they were so lazy with the music in this game. There was no creativity, no passion put into it, no soul. It's just either directly copied or, you know, covered.
Or it's 7 versions of Jungle Hijinks.
But how shitty is it that like everybody was nominating this game for best like music of the year? You know. Just because it had so much of it,
it's quantity.
It's a greatest hits compilation. It's Freedom Rock.
Most of it is.
Hey man, is that Freedom Rock?
And most of it is reused from past Smash games as well. Like in addition to the menu not pressing when I pressed a button on it the first ever time I played the game. A couple of milliseconds before that, I heard the Melee menu music. I was like, "Are you kidding me? I knew I was buying the same game again, but you're not even gonna fucking pretend it's not just Melee again."
Absurd.
It's just
okay.
Well,
we're past the 2-hour mark here.
Yeah. I would just like to summarize to say that I'm being extremely negative over a game that I spent the last 2 weeks having a lot of fun playing. But I acknowledge that's only sorry.
I was just saying, well, to your credit, Joe, you're able to empathize with the plight of those people that aren't in the perfect scenario.
Yeah, exactly. I'm
Yeah.
lucky to be in this situation, and it's not going to come up again. And I just think, why should I have to go through all this just to play a video game?
Well, I think that's a good statement, if as any, to end this episode on. But in grand Smash Brothers tradition, we better split this into two. So tune in next week as we're joined by Jeff Onan, as he'll try to provide a spirited defense of everything we just railed against.
Yes. And Jeff, I'm sorry, I genuinely wasn't slagging you off. I was just paraphrasing you with the thing you said. No hard feelings.
He's lying, Jeff.
Or will there be hard feelings? Tune in next week.
Good night, folks.
This has been a File 2 production.
Que rico.